Come, sit by the fire and hear the tale of 5 steadfast adventurers as they explore the mysterious isles of Doctor. Join us on the Swordcast Adventures.
I mean, I get piracy. You sail around and take gold off of fat merchants, drink up all their wine, and maybe you sink their ships. It's a good life. But planting yourself in the middle of the road and just waiting for people to come by so you can rob them? That's poor work ethic. So we killed those guys, and Metolius rescued a woman named Amelia, who knew all of our names, and not a lot else. She seems nice, and I don't think she's trying to kill us, but it all sounds a little too suspicious for me. I'll keep an eye on her. Oh, speaking of eyes, the glass eye in my pocket might be haunted. And Rain's name is Demecia. I mean, she's not the first woman I've drunkenly slept with and didn't know her name, but it's still a little weird. But I'll call her whatever she wants. She's proven herself a dangerous warrior and someone who's earned my respect. If she doesn't want her old name, it means nothing to me. Alright, now it's time to climb the mountain the unicorn told us about. When exactly does anything on Dakatur start making sense?
Thank you, Grimtuck. So, you all now stand here at the top of this switchback where you find yourself standing in front of a large manticore spine laying in front of you in the midst of some thrown stones, but from what Grimtuck saw, nothing above you. And inside, you see the only form of entrance and continuation of this path, which is this dark cave.
So can I see where that spine came from above?
You can always make a perception check.
Sure. That was a 19.
A 19? There seem to be some outcroppings. You can't exactly see anything flying overhead, though. There are seemingly some, pieces of rock and stone kind of jutting out, so it might be obscuring whatever happened, but you're not able to tell.
Okay.
Are the things that were flying up there before gone?
They seem to be.
Interesting.
I'm concerned. That seems too much like a coincidence. This spine worries me.
If we're being hunted by something, at least it's a terrible shot.
Yes, that's true.
It's something we could encounter later.
It's true. I assume that we are heading in. I could perhaps alarm the entrance. Are you familiar with this bit of magic?
I am.
Oh, you are. Oh, great. Oh, it's. Aren't you rather enjoying having another spellcaster around?
You guys should just make out
Can a
about
manticore
it.
fit through this opening? Dungeon Master, roughly?
It's pretty big. It's
Fist
probably,
bump brain.
in total, I would say, at the highest point, it's probably about a 15-foot high arch.
Oh, okay. So,
It could
manticore
fit
could.
in here.
That sounds like a reasonable course of action.
Well, then we shall do it. We should head in. Once everybody has passed, I will begin the ritual.
So you have about I would say, 40-foot kind of hallway to that 15-foot arch leading you in. Past that is the fallen stones that seem to block the forward path. But from what you saw, Grimtuck, there does seem to be 2 paths to the right and to the left.
While Elduin is alarming the path, I will go check out this T-junction and see what's going on.
Okay, and Elduin, did you want to do that before even going through the kind of archway, or did you want to do it at the archway?
I felt like we would just step right side the archway, and then I would do it
That's
there.
what I was checking.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
What is everyone's HPs at?
Full?
Maxed
Well,
out,
like
yeah.
what
We
is your
rested.
max HP number?
51 for Rain.
59 for Amelia.
68.
99 for Grimtuck.
Okay. Metolius will cast Aid on himself, Amelia, and Rain. So your HP goes up by 5 for 8 hours.
Red.
Cool.
Rockin'.
Excellent.
and DM, alarm is a 20-foot cube. So I will just sort of put it in the middle of this entrance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a 20-foot cube, you literally could put it 5 feet. Yeah, you could set it in here easily and have the whole of the entrance alarmed.
Delightful. I would like to do that.
Awesome. So, yeah.
I believe that I'm holding a torch also.
Yes, I believe you were too. It made it easier to see in. So, as you all stand inside of this, you see 2 more archways kind of on either side, as though it looks like maybe this once was some form of cavern that could have been hand carved or carved by time and wear, but there seems to be kind of separation, as on either side of this T-junction the floor seems to angle upwards in an elevated path to the next room.
Which side of the T-junction is that?
Either.
Oh.
So they both go up?
Both sides seem to arch upwards. It does seem, though, that from where the stones are set in front of you, you don't see any form of rise where you notice the other ones.
Like it used to be a...
So it may have been a straight shot at
okay.
one point, but again, this fills up the entire hallway, so you're not really able to see much ahead of you.
Some sort of cave-in blocks the entrance, maybe.
Or this was formed by water, just coming downwards.
Oh,
Maybe it's like a drainage.
I meant the cave-in for the tunnel ahead of us.
Gotcha.
But water could easily have contributed to that as well.
So you all stand on this in... What do you like to do?
Left or right, I guess, is our...
I believe in luck. Someone should flip a coin.
Go for it, Grip Tuck.
Alright, find an actual coin.
It's quite dark in here. Maybe some light.
Eldrin does have a torch.
I've got a torch.
Awesome.
Alright, Rain, call it.
Excellent.
Heads.
Heads it is.
What does that mean?
Well, what was
How does
heads?
that mean?
I don't know.
How are we supposed to do this?
Well,
Let's try it again.
All right, heads is left.
Alright.
Eldrin's just gonna roll his eyes.
Tails is right.
This is, for the audience, this is stage left and stage right, as in what the character's looking at.
Heads again.
Okay,
Which
so
one was that?
Left.
Left.
Alright, good. Let's do it.
Okay.
Before we ascend,
Yes.
I will also just go ahead and invoke the Pearl of Power for the day
Okay.
and recover my 2nd level spell slot.
So you guys decide to go to the left.
Metolius will produce another torch.
Another torch. So that's 2 torches. Which brings the room quite a light comparatively.
To the left.
To the left. To the left.
Yes.
I mean, duh.
How wide is the tunnel?
So the tunnel to the left is a similar kind of situation. It is 10 feet as well, and it does give a rise of about 10 feet up a slope. A bit of debris here and there, and again, the rock is old, cracked. You hear the drips of a bit of water here and there. But the ceiling itself is actually quite high, probably about 20 to 30 feet above you. Making the light work for where you're standing, but you almost lose the ceiling by the time you're
Right on.
to the top. And from bits and pieces, you like as the light catches it, you see like bits of like stalagmites and stalactites, both on the ceiling and on the ground. Heavy columns, ones that seemingly formed naturally in thick, almost as wide as trees in some places, or as thin as reeds in others. And again, large amounts of debris here and there strewn about.
So this all seems relatively natural, like not man-made at all.
Yes, it almost seems as though possibly parts that you're going through now are the natural ones, though the entryway as well as the kind of forward that is blocked off may have seemed more man-made and carved.
Okay, got it.
I say
Well-
move forward.
Yeah.
As we ascend the stairs, Amelia puts her mask on.
Okay, so as before, this circular, correct?
Kind of like ovular.
This ovular, almost featureless mask goes over Amelia's face.
I'll bring up the rear just in case.
I can take point. I mean, unless Rain wants to scout.
I mean, I definitely can if you guys think it's worth it.
Can you see in the dark?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
How
As
about
you,
you two, and Eldwin and I will bring up the rear.
Or the 2 torchbearers in the rear.
Oh, well. Then you should.
Here, Grimtuck, do you want to hold this?
Get that shit away from me. It makes it harder to see.
Oh, my apologies.
Perhaps you should be right behind them, then, Eldwin.
I will go second.
Okay, so Grimtuck and Rain, then Elduin.
Yeah, sure. I'll go third then, I guess.
Sorry.
Is this the first time I'm seeing Amelia's mask to memory?
Yes, it would be.
Okay. Noted. So I guess I'll go ahead a little bit and like see what I can see, hear what I can hear.
Okay.
Obviously try to be stealthy about it.
Yeah, roll a perception check, Rain. Well, if you wanted to be stealthy about it, roll a stealth check first.
Okay.
Then roll a perception check, please. Correct?
Yeah.
19 for stealth.
Okay.
That dice said 9. Your stealth is insane.
And then perception?
Yes. Please.
17.
Okay. So as you take up point on this, you walk into this very oddly angular room. There seems to be 4 of those natural columns kind of sticking out, 2 on either side of this kind of center portion. These little outcroppings that kind of dip away. And at the very far end, just at the kind of edge of your vision, because it is decently hard to see, even in dark vision, at that far away. You see 2 more of the large tree-like columns of stone that kind of set into the foundation and hold whatever this is up. And then in the center, as well as kind of strewn about, you see large boulders kind of like thrown here and there. Not thrown, but like kind of scattered.
Okay.
And as you're walking through listening, all you hear is just the faint, just drips.
Okay. That's what I was going to say next. If I see like a lot of places someone could be hiding, I'd like listen to see if I could hear any.
Sure. You also
Like-
notice, as you're cresting the rise, there seems to be another rise to your very immediate left
Okay.
that seems to go up another 10 or 20 feet from where you are, almost sharply in that way.
Okay, gotcha.
And then, of course, this room opens up to be almost about 80 to 90 feet wide at the widest, and there seems to be portions of it that are out of your field of vision at
Okay.
the very end.
Man, that's huge.
Well, yeah, I kind of signaled back to them to let them know I don't see anything dangerous right off the bat.
Cool. Moving forward.
Yeah.
Move in.
Okay.
Yes, so our torchlight can illuminate more.
As you all decide to finally make it into this, I'd like you all to roll a perception check for me.
Including another one for me.
Yeah.
Grimtux is 16.
Okay.
4 for Rain.
18 for Amelia.
Nice.
13 for Elduin.
Okay.
17 for Metolius.
All good. It's very quiet in here. You hear what sounds like wind blowing through, as though there seems to be some form of exit somewhere deep within this cavern. And then
Do we feel it blowing past us and out?
it seems to be lightly blowing on you. You see the torches kind of flicker backwards towards you, like away from you.
Yeah, like from whence we came.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just slightly. It's not like a heavy wind,
Right.
but it's enough where you can actually see the firelight kind of flicker and move back while you're standing there. You also, Metolius, you feel it's weird. It's like just a moment you hear the sound of something like ting off your breastplate. Little piece of stone, it just falls to the ground as though a bit of sand or rock fell down.
It fell on my
Just
like on
yep,
my shoulder.
as in like just like a piece came off the ceiling and just ting. And that's weird. And you kind of look up, and at the corner of your eye, you see something move in the shadow, but it could have been a bat.
I raised the torch up so I can get a better look.
As you raise it up and the kind of light fills the ceiling, you get another flicker of something far off in the shadow, but it seems small and wispy, just momentarily seen out of the corner of your eye, and then it's gone.
Did you see something on the roof? Or on the ceiling?
I'm not sure. Maybe the light is playing tricks on me, but
You seem startled.
some pebble hit my breastplate, and
Can we see
it seemed like it came from above.
Can we see the ceiling from here?
You can, his torchlight at his most tallest like handle
It's
can,
20 feet, I think.
Above
I have
you?
60 feet dark vision.
yeah, so you can see like a basic gray rendering of the ceiling.
Okay.
With his torchlight, you can see the ceiling, but with him commenting on it and you looking up, you no longer see.
Oh, it's 20-foot bright light, 20-foot dim light.
Okay, so it's a 40. So your dim light would hit the ceiling, even just from standing there.
Okay.
So, in the kind of crag-like ceiling to this room, whatever Matoli saw at the corner of his eye isn't there anymore.
Can we see the end of the room?
You can, actually.
Okay.
At the very far end, it's behind some more of that kind of piled rubble. You see two exits, one larger, again, about 10 feet. It seems to stay about the same height, give or take. The other seems to be that sharp rise, like the very first entrance in this room that Rain saw. And that, again, so on the... If you're looking at it, it's on your left side. There are two sharp rises, one at the very start and one at the almost very end. And then there is a continuous path out that seems to do...
Go on the same plane that we're on
Yep.
to stay level.
But again, that goes around a corner and you're unable to see much farther than a few feet past that. But you see the full spectrum of the room. It's odd. You do notice, Grimtech, as you kind of look a little further in, you notice that there seems to be about two piles of rubble in a corner. Bits of stone and sand and dirt kind of piled up against a wall. And this is to the right, the wall facing forward from where you're standing as you enter this room, and a little bit to the wall to your right, which is away from the exits that you have seen.
And it looks like rubble and sand?
Yeah, piled, almost like it's kind of like slumped against the wall.
I'll go check that out.
Okay.
So the other exit to this room that's not at the top of the steep incline.
Well, that it effectively becomes a steep incline is the two exits on the left wall, on your left, that go into a very steep incline and disappear out of your sight. And then there is a even exit at the very far end.
So up or forwards?
I'm gonna go check out this pile. It looks kind of out of place.
All right.
So you all push into the center of the room. There,
Yes.
in the very center of the room, there are four of those columns kind of stuck to either side, and then two columns at the very far end. And then there is this kind of pile of stone that you could kind of stand around if you wished.
Well, I just want to go poke at it.
I know you're going over there. I'm just saying the rest of
Oh, okay.
It's a pile of sand.
He's going to
And
poke over
rubble.
to rubble and sand over on the right wall.
I'm trying to discern if it either fell from the ceiling or came up from the floor.
Sure, absolutely. So roll me an investigation check. When you get over there, and you all move into the center.
Yeah, we'll move.
We're
this side
moving.
around.
I'll move into the room.
You were already in the room? It's
Oh,
kind of-
well, I don't want to stand too close to anyone, but
Okay.
I mean, what's the approximate square?
So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. It's 90 by 2, 4. It's 90 by 60, basically,
Oh,
with a bit
wow.
of angle. It's a big room.
Okay.
There's a bit of angle. You can definitely stand away from each other.
I'll
in
probably keep within 10 feet of as many people as I can.
Sure.
basically. That's what Metolius does.
I rolled a 7.
It's hard to tell. You know of many things, especially in your days out and about in the world. You know of many things that could crawl up out of the ground, and many things that could kind of crawl anywhere, really. But this, it's hard to exactly tell where it came from. It could be just a pile of a big mole, for all you know.
Okay.
But
But
you're-
it feels like it came up from the ground, potentially.
With a 7, I would say
Probably
it's not exactly clear on where it came from.
I'm going to climb up on it to see if it shifts at all.
Okay. I would like to know everyone's position. Center of the room? Yes, no? You're 10 feet away from everyone?
I think I'm the only one that's center of the room.
I would be like grouped in a central location,
Okay.
Oh, wait,
but
no, no.
probably
Yeah.
be spread out from each other.
I would like to probably start heading to the center of the room because once I'm kind of in a more centralized location, I just kind of want to do like a panorama of the room, just kind of like do one more perception check around from a different vantage point.
I'd say that I walked over to
the
one of
ceiling.
the walls and was like
Or the
looking at a
ceiling.
wall
Well, no,
closely.
he's also moving up there. I'm not walking up there right now.
Can we see on the advent calendar?
I'm going to try to not show you guys spoilers and get you a good advent-wise.
Okay. Upon being on the pile, I would like to put on my dread helm Just
Okay.
because it seems appropriate for this place to have glowing red eyes.
Gonna intimidate the pile.
I mean, I'm in pitch black. It's glowing red eyes. Yep, that's cool.
That's fair enough. I like to it gives you submarine vision where you just like everything is like infrared.
God, that's cool. Little targets pop up on things. And
I need your
Oh.
clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
So, as you're all standing around Grimtuck, you put on your dread helm and now look menacing.
King of the hill.
Sure.
One pile. Knock me off. I dare you.
As Grimtuck stands tall in it, it feels pretty firm, as though it doesn't seem to be anything underneath that would let you pass. No holes, no anything like that.
Metolius whispers loudly, "Get off that. Stay quiet."
Fine. I shrug. I'll climb down.
As you begin to climb down, Grimtuck, from out of the shadows and now in the light, you see this giant serpentine creature rush forward out from behind you and just slam into you.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Because stealth is really awesome.
Snaked around all
Which
Right behind where Grimtuck was on the map. So, like, above
Oh,
where
I
that
see.
pile was,
Ah,
the
yeah,
thing
yeah,
just,
yeah.
like, rushes down the
Okay.
wall.
of them. Okay.
Well, I'm right
Look at
there.
that! Ooh.
Yeah.
How tall are the ceilings in here?
They are, I said almost 30 feet.
Almost 30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I would like to activate my danger sense so as to not be surprised.
That's true.
Okay.
Spider sense was tingling.
Bling!
You,
There's
you
some shit going on.
turn around to see this gigantic snake-like creature open its jaws at you.
Nice.
Danger, danger.
And,
What does that do for me then?
well, I say we roll initiative then, if
Okay.
you're not surprised.
Well, I mean, you would still get to make the attack. You just don't have advantage on Grimtuck.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Grimtuck, how is hitting you for a, what about a non-natural 20?
Non-natural 20 hits. That hits my AC.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's feral instinct, not danger sense. That makes it so I can't be surprised. So there we go.
But still,
Yeah.
you get the hairs on the back of your neck as you're kind of walking down this pile spring up, and you turn around to see this gigantic, almost azure creature, long snake-like body, clawed talons, and a huge serpentine gullet open its mouth and rush straight forward towards you.
Okay.
The first attack hits, and it does 17 points of damage. Oh, so average. 17 points of damage, plus, as you feel, it doesn't bite down on you. Instead, it kind of twirls around, and then you see its oddly, almost eel-like body swing around behind you and wrap, dealing another 20 points of slashing damage.
How much damage did it do total?
20
did-
plus 17, so 37.
Jeez.
Damn.
and you feel
So it didn't bite him. It curled. It
it
coiled around
it
him.
coiled around him.
20 plus 17?
Yes.
Okay.
So, as this creature wraps around you and we all begin to roll initiative, 37 points of damage
Whew.
dealt to you, and you feel its body curl around you, and you feel yourself held in place
I don't like that at all.
as you are grappled. And that's when I grab a card, pass to you. And these wonderful condition cards here. You are grappled.
Oh, like I don't know what grapple does.
Shut up. Take your card.
I throw motherfuckers downstairs. I know what grapple does.
But that also means that we roll initiative, guys. Let us start this bitch off.
And. Alright.
Eldwin,
15.
15. Metolius,
16.
16. Amelia,
17.
18? 18?
Straight.
17.
Oh!
you fucked it up, Grimtuck.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Got
Rain.
wormed. I'm
23.
I'm off my
Yeah!
Last with a 15. Okay.
Way to go.
That makes sense. I'm on the other side of the room.
It's true.
So, at the top of the round, and I will make this...
Being last to go on a 15 is pretty unusual, I'd say.
Yes. Well, I don't actually know what this baddie rolled, so maybe I go before it. But
So, You all
I
see.
do. Hey.
This all begins very quickly, Rain. You're kind of taken off guard as you see Grimtuck getting off this mound of stone and rubble, and then this creature's there, almost out of the shadows, and yet you should all be able to see.
How far away am I right now?
I would say you're probably 30 feet at least from Grimtuck,
Okay.
unless you're right behind him, which it didn't seem like you were.
No, I don't think I was.
So I'll say you're 30 feet.
Alright, that's fine.
And yes,
Am I within 5 feet of the creature? Because I was fairly close to Grimtuck.
you're 10 feet away.
Okay.
And since it's currently grappling, it doesn't count. That's
I am too
think
threatening.
You do see this odd...
It's huge, or
It is a huge creature. It's a huge, giant-ass worm thing. Not really a worm. It has multiple legs all down its body. Its slimy, rigid back covered in sharp scales. 2 horns crest its head, and a long serpentine mouth with sharp, pointed teeth line its face. Its tail ends at a very long distance down, and it is now in its deep blue mystique wrapped all around you.
Oh,
Am I allowed to hold my action until an ally is within 5 feet of it?
yeah.
Then
Yes.
I'm gonna do that.
Hey, well, let me rephrase this.
I'm gonna-
Yes, but what action are you holding?
An attack with my hand crossbow.
Perfect.
Cool.
That is as long as there is an ally within 5 feet. Yes.
So I just like hunker down, ready to shoot, and I'm just waiting for it to be distracted.
Yes. That brings it to Grimtuck's turn. You find yourself constricted and constricted,
yeah, I'm not.
which in turn means grappled.
Yeah, grapple. I can still do stuff. Well,
You can.
Get mad about
Obviously,
it.
I will rage.
There you go.
Because that was a lot of damage to get hit with.
That was a lot of damage, and this is one of the first times all that damage was just taken.
Yeah, it just wasn't. That was, I thought I was looking for a hole. I should have looked up. I ain't gonna do.
Sometimes
so,
you think it's a mole, sometimes you don't.
I will draw my great axe,
Yes.
silver great axe, and I am going to. Let's go for full Monty. I'm pretty pissed.
You're not gonna
Yeah.
Giant Slayer him?
I got a plan.
Ah.
Reckless attack, great weapon master. So my minus 10 plus 5.
It's gonna go sushi chef on it.
Or minus 5 plus 10. Whew, that's my 26 to hit. Wait, no, minus 5, so 21.
21 hits.
21 to hit. And then damage first? Or just swing again? I don't know. Oh, you want
Damage first.
All
You can
right,
do damage per attack.
Alright. Maximum damage. So that's 12 plus 5 is 17, 18, 19 damage.
19?
Plus 10, 29 damage.
Reciprocated. Excellent.
Yeah. And then that one sucked. That was an 8.
8 does not hit.
Yeah.
As your first swing connects and this kind of black ooze start pouring out of the wound, you notice its flesh underneath almost white and pulpy. It's weird. But then, as your second blow comes down, it skims right off of the hard ridge back of the creature and does no damage. That does bring it, unless you're doing anything else, Grimtuck. You did your bonus, you did your
I
actions.
can't move, so
Nope.
I'm kicking it.
Chose to the sweet Amelia. Amelia, you now see your new companion wrapped up tightly by this odd snake-like
Got him right where I
monstrosity.
want
Sure you do.
How far away from it am I?
Amelia, you actually wrote your name on here too, so you are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet.
Okay. Amelia's just gonna throw her arm out and cast Sacred Flame.
Okay, and
So it's a dex save.
skills.
It automatically fails because I'm grappling it while it's grappling me.
That's not how that works. Your DC is 16, correct?
Correct.
Sweet. It sadly makes it. You see the flames fly out across the battlefield and catch upon its scales and just peter out as it seems to kind of wheel back, its whole body writhing to move out of the way.
Bummer, but alright. You said I'm 25 feet?
Sure, yes. Let's say 25.
I'll move in like 10.
10? Okay. You move up 10 feet. Got it. that brings it to Metolius. You also now see this giant snake-like creature wrapped around your green friend, and you are effectively, at the moment, the closest to them, now within 10 feet.
Metolius, his jaw drops for a second, and then the torch hits the floor pretty much right after, and he pulls his axe, and he charges forward, and as he goes to strike, I will cast Branding Smite as a bonus action.
Okay.
And then I'll get up into melee with it.
Got it?
That's
Rain.
you.
That's your action.
I'm the nail driver this guy.
Rain, this was your action.
Crit fail.
Wait.
Oh,
with
no.
it. Oh, damn it.
You, would-
Yep.
you know what you gotta do. High or low,
Alright.
roll them percentiles.
Who's shooting Grim Tuck today?
Let's go low. 56.
Okay. Now roll me just a plain old D10, please.
D10,
Alright.
that's not what a hand crossbow does.
She's not rolling damage.
6.
Okay, and now roll your damage.
God damn it. Alright. Am I rolling it with sneak attack?
No.
Probably not.
No, because you're not getting sneak attack on the miss.
Right, okay.
That'd be fucked up.
That would be
yeah,
fucked
that'd
up.
That'd be
fucked
really
up.
no. I'm not that mean.
Okay.
You may hit someone, but you're not gonna like crit them. Fuck.
Oh, cool. Like minimum damage, so what? 5? 5.
Okay. Rain, as you see Metolius charge forward, you kind of brace yourself to fire your bolt as you notice your companion in line. As he raises his axe, the creature kind of shifts, and you try to fix your aim. And as you pull the trigger, you notice it's slightly off, and then you see as your bolt skims the back of Metolius' head, dealing 5 points of damage.
Shave and a haircut.
Okay. Alrighty.
Sorry.
Oh,
It's not your
it's not
I
your
know.
turn. Or not your fault. Don't worry.
No, it's mine. But Metolius, this is your turn to now rush up after Rain
Yup.
gave you a bit of a haircut.
Yup. 15 plus 9.
15 plus 9 hits.
Alright. So many dices.
Yeah, so many dices.
So it did me a branding smite.
That you did.
And I think I'll just pile on another smite
2 smites.
on top of it.
All them smites.
Wait, you can apply 2 smites to one attack?
One's a spell and one is expending a spell slot. 2d8 extra, that's a d8. Okay.
All that beautiful dice footage. So much.
Alright, so it takes 11 points of magical slashing damage.
Okay.
It takes 12 points of radiant damage. Actually, I lied. It takes 14 points of radiant damage.
Okay, so 11 and then 14.
Yep, and then 1 lightning damage.
Okay.
Oh, right. Never mind. Forgot I even said that statement. So 19 plus 11. Or 14 plus 11, so 25.
25.
And then Branding Smite says that the creature is now visible. It sheds dim light in a 5-foot radius
Woof.
till the spell ends.
How long is the spell?
A minute.
Okay. Woof.
And I'll-
But so yes, the first 2, like the first giant bash of a swing just connects, and you see this giant flash of glow come from the axe. And as it does, it cuts deep. Once again, that kind of white pulpy flesh is exposed now, and that black ooze pours out the creature's wound. And then, of course, that final bit of damage oddly skitters across its armor.
Anyway, I'm attacking again.
Get it.
I will use luck.
It's just that bad, huh?
Yes.
When I did my reckless attack earlier, I did a 5 and a 3 on my second one. So Shit happens.
16 plus 9, 25.
Well done.
25?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it still does the 2d6 because it's the next time I hit with my weapon. So that time it is 12 points of magical slashing damage.
Got it.
With 7 points of radiant damage.
Okay,
As
what-
the branding smite is still applied.
Once again, just an explosion of light. The whole room is lit up. The creature screeches in this odd, gruff, rumbling voice. I'm not making that noise. But he does as more is hacked away from his body. But his grip stays firm upon your companion.
That's fine. That is the end of Metolius' turn.
Cool. Elduin, your turn. You now see Metolius hammering away at this creature. Grimtuck also doing the same, trying to remove itself from its clutches. Rain missing. Amelia faltering. Not intentionally, but you know.
From my inspection of the wall, I hear all of this happening, and my head whips around. I see this creature wrapping Grimtuck. I'll throw my torch down, grab the bow off of my back, and I'll aim as I energize this arrow, and it fires a magical shot with sharpshooter.
Okay.
7.
No.
Aims a second shot.
The arrow flies, catching the wall, sticking
Also-
in as the magic fades once the arrow connects, but it digs the arrow deeply into the stone.
Okay, these are all going to be sharpshooter. Oh man, 9.
Another second one. This creature is wily, its body nigh amorphous.
And I'm going to use my action surge
Okay.
and fire again.
Okay.
9.
Oh man.
Nope. Once again, just another thunk.
Woo! Stop using sharpshooter. Woo!
No, I'm gonna. There we go. 19.
Hey, that one hits.
There you go.
But yeah, again, between the two of you, Grimtuck and Metolius, you hear thunk, 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 as 3 arrows lodge themselves deep within the stone. The 4th finding purchase.
Okay, so that arrow is going to hit for 16.
16. Okay. 16 points of damage. It hits, and you see it bury itself deep within its thick, scaly body.
All done. I'm just gonna stay right where I am.
Right where I am, just-
on the other side of the room from me. I'm happy.
I mean, there's not much space over there between you and your self-loathing.
Dude, I was just,
It's a
yeah.
crowded room.
Until I rolled that last one, and that rolled over a 5.
Okay, Grimtuck, Metolius, you see this now snake-like creature remove 2 of the legs off the ground, ones that weren't attached to Grimtuck. These now rear up, its head rears up, its jaw unhinges, and it goes in for a bite.
Nice.
Buy him a drink first.
Yeah, right.
Oh, good goddamn. That would be a 29 to hit.
Yep. That beats my AC by 11.
Yeah, it
This
does.
creature's also glowing with radiant energy.
That's why I couldn't hit it. It was blinding me.
Yeah.
Couldn't see.
I'm never looking directly at a light bulb.
Not for a ton of damage. For 15... Okay, 21 points of piercing damage, but halved because you're...
Okay, so that goes to 10.
As you feel it bite down upon you, at first it chomps down around your head.
Ugh.
And you feel its mouth and its all of its musculature in there kind of cinch up, and then you feel the edges of its mouth move over your shoulders.
This guy's been trying to eat me.
And then you feel it move down until you feel your legs lift off the ground as you are now blinded and restrained and very much swallowed.
Oh shit. Alright, alright.
Too soon.
I mean, Yeah.
No, like, strength save or anything?
No.
That's too bad.
No, the getting out of that kind of stuff is all on you, sir. Your choice was to attack it.
Yes, it was. I'm secure.
Stand behind that.
Yep.
What can you do while you're restrained?
While you're restrained, you can do many things. A restrained creature's speed has become 0. It can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and creatures' attack rolls have disadvantage. The creature has disadvantages on dexterity saving throws.
Okay.
Hey, and here are 2 more cards for you, Mr. Grimtuck. These wonderful condition cards that we love so much.
DM's making it rain condition cards.
That's
Boom.
fine.
You're technically not grappled anymore.
You aren't grappled. You're not grappled. You're 8. There's the difference.
You lost 1 condition to gain 2 more.
That's fine.
And at that point, Metolius, you see this odd bulge in its gullet
Knee shape.
as it kind of spins
It's
around.
a baby.
You see its eyes kind of glow wide as it looks at you, being that you've branded and made it glow, and it begins to rush up the wall.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking kill him up here.
So I can take an attack of
Absolutely
opportunity.
can.
Alright.
Make him barf me. Make him barf me. And then maybe catch me when I fall. I'm very...
Non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20 hits.
How long does the glowing last? A minute. Right?
A minute.
Okay, yeah. Is that concentration?
It is concentrated. $13 points of magical slashing damage.
Okay.
And 7 points of radiant damage.
Okay. Bam. That 20 points gets cut from this creature's hide as black goo rain down, but it continues its forward motion as it snakes back up the side of the wall. You all now see its many arms and legs catching on the stone, walking as though normally on flat ground up the wall and back into this hole. Once unseen, now very noticeable, now that the glow from its body shines out.
Is the hole...
It's 30
well, I just meant, is the hole large enough for like a person to stand up? Since it's a huge creature.
As it seems that the light kind of catches everything, you do notice that it seems big enough for a person to stand in.
Okay, and how far up the wall?
It is, so the wall is 30 feet high to the top, so this is about 25 feet.
Alrighty.
So it's made it all the way back into the hole now?
Well, it took its movement after it took its movement after it attacked.
But was that enough to get it like out
Uh-huh.
of sight around a corner?
It's enough to climb into the hole,
Okay,
but the light is still there.
we can see it in the hole,
You can see the light.
but not
The light is
not
fading.
itself. Okay.
Is the gist I'm getting from his description.
Yes.
Okay.
At that point, that is the end of its turn, effectively, and that brings it to the top of the round. Rain, you see another party member be consumed and then drug
Damn it.
off into a higher, almost alcove. high on the-
How high off the ground is the alcove?
25 feet.
Okay.
Effectively, if you're standing on the rubble, it's probably more like 15.
Oh, okay.
That helps it. The rubble that Grimtuck initially was standing upon. So that does top the round. That is Rain.
Oh my god, alright. How far away from the wall am I?
From that wall,
Yeah, like the wall where the hole is.
probably more like 30 feet
Okay.
on the opposite side. 'Cause you're about 30 feet from this kind of attack.
I mean, like, if I tried to shoot it, would I even be able to, like, would it just be disadvantage?
I would say it's disadvantage.
Okay.
The only way I could see it actually working is you could arc a shot because of the light. I mean, again, you can't do more than just disadvantage, so I'd give you that with disadvantage if you want to try a shot.
I just don't, I guess so. Like, in an attempt to, like, get its attention, I guess, and hopefully get it to come back out, I'll try.
Sure.
So at disadvantage. Oh, okay. Will be a, I can do math, 24.
Even at disadvantage, you aim your crossbow just right, and it arcs and you hear a satisfying thunk as it hits into the creature's.
Rain got really high grades in trigonometry.
And minimum damage, so 5.
So 5 points.
Yeah.
Grimtuck, you hear the sound of what you can only think of as some form of projectile catching into this creature from the inside.
Nice.
You even hear and feel a rumble of its kind of groan and roar as that arrow connects.
But I
Or
would like
bolt connects.
to use my movement to get closer to the wall that the hole is in, so...
You can make it to the, effectively, up the pile.
Yeah, bonus action dash. That's
Yeah.
sucker all the way up.
Oh, you
yeah.
could, you
I'm
could,
surprised you didn't run up there.
That's
Just
true.
take your shot.
I didn't
I mean,
think
hey.
about that. I can...
But you can still get there.
you absolutely
You
can.
hit it.
And actually,
Yeah, you
from
did
where
still
you're
hit it.
standing, you could get to into the hole
Alright.
with a bonus action dash, especially with your slippers.
The boots!
Okay, yeah, no. I will get into the hole then.
Okay.
And try not to lose sight on this thing.
Okay. So you see Rain fire a shot in the, well, I would say in the dark, but that pun would
Mostly
be
in the dark.
that pun would not work because it is now branded and bright. But as she fires her shot and the creature screams from the pain of the bolt catching into it, Rain rushes forward, not allowing this to happen again, as she crosses the ground and runs up the pile of pushed out refuse and up the wall into this odd alcove, carved tunnel. This feels serpentine, as though something long like this creature has carved these intentionally. As you see it writhing and wriggling its way to the opposite side of this long tunnel, probably about 15 feet, and it arcs an odd way to your, if you're standing in it, it arcs an odd way to your left. It kind of like sharply turns. But you see it there. You see that bright, glowing, blue, snake-like creature.
Yeah, that's like my
You have,
intention right now is to just not lose visual.
at the point
and
where you
know
make
it's
it,
going.
you make it about 5 feet into this tunnel, and you very much have eyes on the creature.
Okay.
Got it. Grimtuck, you are swallowed.
Alright, let's reckless attack so I can negate this disadvantage.
Okay?
And I'm gonna just swing on this motherfucker.
He's mad as hell and he's not gonna take it anymore.
Also swallowed. I don't know if Great Weapon Master is the best option for this one. Being that I'm just gonna try and do damage.
Okay.
So that is a 20.
20 hits.
Nice. Oh, that's really good. So 17, 18, 19 damage.
19 damage. Okay, got it.
And same again, 20.
Got it.
And 19 damage again.
Nice!
Oh, max damage, both hits.
That's a lucky D12.
Yeah, I know, right?
Shit.
You've seen it.
Sorry.
You were there.
So 38 points of damage?
Yep, from the
Shit, dog.
inside, motherfucker.
Oh, God.
Damn.
Call me
Damn.
Ghost Pepper. Coming for you, motherfucker.
You, Rain, you see this.
God.
Jesus Christ. You see this event occur. As you see the Behir stop and kind of start, and you see its malleable form kind of push and move, and then you see a very thin point get pressed hard against the inner lining of its stomach, and then a bit of blood trickles out, and then another one, a second swing, and a bit more, and then the Behir goes, and Grimtuck is ejected
Awesome.
from the creature. A mass of liquid and bile and Grimtuck spill upon this kind of curved tunnel.
Gross.
Oh yeah. That will end your turn unless you have something of a bonus action.
I bet I have a movement.
You do. You now find yourself prone on the ground, so you have movement.
Okay, I will stand up.
Okay.
At the very least. I imagine if it's still alive, then
It is
I'm
still alive.
engaged. You know
Yes,
what?
you are.
Fuck. No, I can't risk
Is
it.
he... So the thing is like a tunnel, so is Grimtuck
I'm on the
at the
other
head,
end.
and then the...
Yeah, Grimtuck's at the head,
Okay.
Rain's at the tail, and Grimtuck about 10 feet from where you're standing seems to be the exit of this tunnel, and you see a room that kind of opens up behind you.
either way, he's gonna have advantage on me. Fucking chill right here.
'Kay.
I'm not gonna run. If I go further, then it's just me versus the worm. So I'm gonna post up.
That is true.
Yeah. So I'm holding my ground.
Okay. Grimtech, that is your turn. Amelia, it is yours now. You heard a lot of things just happen.
It was real gross.
And how far away from the wall that has the hole in it am I?
You are 5, 10, 15, about 15 feet from the pile that Grimtech got attacked upon. And then the wall is about 15 feet up when you're on top of the pile.
So would I have enough
So that's
movement
25 to get
get
on
there
top.
and get on top of it?
On top of the pile, not in the hole. Unless you started climbing.
I guess I just try and get as far as possible. I just
Okay.
take off, and if I can start climbing, I'll start climbing.
Okay. So with the last... So it's... I'd say you get at least another 5 feet up the wall. So you're about 10 feet from the hole. But you're hanging on.
Okay.
That brings it to Metolius. It's your turn. You're now effectively still the closest to the pile, and in turn you see Amelia rush forward and start running up and start to climb. You hear as well this cacophony of disgusting noises and events happening above.
I'm okay.
You didn't say that in your turn.
I know.
Would it be my whole action to help Amelia get the rest of the way up?
Well, it'd be 10 feet up the thing. No, I'd say you could... I'd swing you a bonus.
Well,
to push her.
let me rephrase that. If someone were to throw out their arm from the top, could she reach it?
Yeah, if someone's throwing out their arm from the top, yeah, absolutely.
All right, I will Misty Step up to the top,
Ooh.
and
So
then I will
There you go.
get down with my chest, I guess, on the bare stone, I suppose, and reach out my hand and help Amelia up.
ample enough. Behind you, you hear a... And then a moment later, another... And then Metolius stands in front of you, high above you, about 10 feet up. But with enough doing and reaching, you both can meet halfway between.
Awesome.
So I
Arms
probably would have had to
connect.
move at least a little bit to get to the, because it's only a 30-foot range.
Yes.
So
You would have
what,
to
like
move-
10 feet?
You would have to move like 5 feet from where you're standing
Okay.
to get 30 feet.
So yeah, 5 feet, blip up,
Yep.
pull up Amelia.
Yeah. Make a athletic check with advantage because you're both kind of pulling. You hear the sharp scrape of your breastplate against the stone itself.
22 for athletics.
Yeah, you, in one quick motion, Amelia, you feel your whole weight be lifted and placed in this tunnel. And now you all stand, except for Elduin, in this odd tunnel squaring off against this long serpentine creature.
So I have 25 feet.
Brad.
Can I make it?
You
To
could
the creature?
make it, easily to the creature. You can make it probably to its head. You can make it out of this tunnel on the opposite side of the 25 feet.
Oh.
This tunnel's only about 15.
Do I have an action left? It's okay if you say no.
No, not in that way, no.
All right, I'll just move up
Okay.
and flank it.
Sure. You can absolutely flank. Okay, Elduin.
I'll just call it.
You're
Grimtuck,
alone.
I'm coming.
You are left alone in this wide open room, and as you see everyone rush to Grimtuck's aid and
Bye, Eldwin.
hear this really disgusting sound above you.
Oh wait, I forgot. Let me give you your cards back.
Don't
So,
need those no more.
From my position on the far side of the room,
Yeah.
is there any way that I can see the creature down the hall, down the tunnel?
No.
No.
Not from where you're standing. Again, you are on the basically on the opposite side of the room, looking at it, at the hole. You see Amelia and Metolius standing at the mouth of this hole, but you do not see.
Do I get the sense that it's like just out of sight, or that it's like really out of sight?
I would say you're not able to grasp that, though. You know Rain went farther, and you can't see Rain right now, so it's probably a little ways out of sight from where you're standing.
Okay.
The Metolius ran forward too, so.
That's true. Metolius, actually, Amelia is the only one you see.
Okay. And how far is it for me to run across the room?
Across the room, I would say it's about 30, 10, 15, 20, 25 to get to the... From where you're standing, 25 feet to get to the pile, 10 feet up the pile, and then 15 feet to the hole. I would say a full-on sprint might allow you to do so.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'd be standing at the bottom.
Yeah, totally.
What's my proximity to Rain and Amelia.
You're standing flanking with the creature, and the creature is huge, so you're standing probably... You still got about I'd say a 5-10 foot space between you and Grimtuck altogether.
Okay.
I mean, you guys are pretty clustered.
Okay. Is everyone within 10 feet of me, basically?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay. That's all I want.
Yeah, I'm gonna sprint across the room. I'm gonna try and climb up and clamber up into the hole as best I can.
Okay. Yeah, this thing is about 15 to 20 feet. Yeah. The creature stands in the center. Grimtuck just about a little past the edge. Metolius, Rain, and Amelia all kind of clustered behind it. And Elduin just now.
So do I need to use my dash to get there?
To get up there, yeah.
Sure. Alright, I do that.
Okay.
Do I need to do any checks or anything?
Being that you're dashing, roll me one athletics check. To climb.
4.
4? It's a little slow going. You don't fall off, but you don't make it up the hole.
Okay.
You're now sitting at the top. Or just below the top.
Okay, I guess that's my turn.
Okay. That does bring it back to the creature's turn, who...
Bring it.
His head lowers. His whole front of his neck kind of straightens out, and unlike what he did before, this kind of odd snake-like motion, this odd eel-like pattern, his spines on his back raise, and his mouth almost, instead of going slack like before, it now becomes rigid and jarred open. And Grimtuck, at the very back of its throat, you see as sparks of the electricity kind of build up.
Neat!
And in turn, I would like you to roll a dexterity saving throw as a line of lightning erupts from this serpentine creature.
You get +4.
And I also have advantage.
Yep.
So that would be dexterity saving throw, so that's
Shit out of all of us.
15. +4 would be 19.
19?
Yes.
So you take half damage.
Yeah, call me Super. Fresh start of that shit.
You dab out of the way.
Whoa.
Grimtuck, out!
Half that half damage.
Half the half damage?
Well, I'm raging.
Yeah, but it's not bludgeoning, piercing, or...
Baritone,
Baritone.
motherfucker.
Oh, just all of it?
Yeah.
Ah, shit. There you go.
Well, everything but psychic.
Yeah.
This ain't psychic, so you're good. You're good to go. Let's see, 12. That would be 17, 21. It's 21. That's 18, 20, 26. So that's 47.
Damage for lightning?
We're not there yet. We're
No.
not done.
Oh shit.
What?
40. This is not halved or anything yet.
Oh, okay.
This is initial damage.
No, I'm still. That's just a lot of damage. for lightning.
47.
That's cool.
47, that's 55, that's 61 points of lightning damage pass through you. So quartered, effectively?
Oh,
15.
So 15 points of lightning.
I am tickled.
This whole
My nipples are hard.
opening just glows not only from the brand but from the lightning shock. And behind you, you hear that sparking going across the stone.
Jesus Christ, that thing did some damage though.
That would have one-shotted me, like, just, yeah.
In that
Oh, me too.
moment, as he sees you still standing, the feral instincts of this beast kind
All
of...
intimidation?
No? Are you trying to make it your pet? No. You hear again that kind of guttural, odd, rough sound of... as he rushes forward, giving Metolius and Grimtuck an attack of opportunity as he tries to push past you.
Same thing, reckless attack.
So it's speaking a language?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Does anyone speak Draconic?
Yes, I do.
Elduin, as you're hanging on the wall, of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah.
As you're hanging on the wall, you hear,
Bipedal, useless meat. Must escape.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
You're in the
attacks
middle
of
of
opportunity.
reacting.
Okay.
Let's get him.
Okay, so that would be.
Ooh, I'm gonna use luck.
I hit to a 18.
18 to hit.
Yep.
18 hits.
That's great weapon master, reckless. So that's. Alright, here we go. 14, 24, 25, 26.
14 hit. 26. Metolius. So this is how this goes. Metolius, you slash your axe down upon him to try to catch him, but he's able to wriggle out of the way as he rushes forward towards Grimtuck to try
Right
to...
into Grimtuck's waiting arms.
Oh.
Give me a hug, big boy.
As he rushes forward at Grimtuck, trying to make his way to escape, to get out of there. These things shouldn't be able to take me. As he runs forward, Grimtuck deftly steps to the side and lays a single swing against this creature's open maw. And as he does, the creature continues, but the axe splits it right down the center as he ribbons himself in two, straight to the base of the ground below. The creature makes it to the end of its tail, and as it finishes the cut, it slumps into two piles of wet, ragged noodles.
Oh.
I imagine, like, if you're watching from the other side, it just flies out in two different pieces.
Like, just like shooting ribbon.
Just kind of heavy breathing, just drops to his knees, and it's just.
You see pieces of Grimtuck singed.
Yeah.
Other pieces of him soaked with bile and gross. And the smell is almost unbearable.
I was thinking, I thought you were going to say it's an improvement. Doing better. You know, I bathed this year. Chill.
What the hell was that thing?
Yeah. Inside and out, I have no idea.
Do I recognize what this is? Like, do I know what this creature is?
I would say now
It's
that we're
weak.
out of you could roll a nature check for me. But we're also
Amelia
out of-
reaches down and pulls Elduin up onto the ledge.
Thank you. No, I don't know what this thing is.
Why would you roll?
Could you light your dice on fire, please?
Seriously.
We have a fire pit. We can just go
I rolled
around.
a 6. This die has rolled 5 3s for me tonight.
No, sadly,
Stop rolling it.
nothing catches.
Okay.
And again, in this kind of quick, almost like just anarchy of motion and movement and attacking, you're unable to really pinpoint what it is.
I don't know what this is, but it did speak a few words of Draconic. This is surprising.
As you're now up there, you now see Grimtuck covered in a bit of singe and bile. And you see a giant pool of it now on the ground. You all stand in this odd snake-like tunnel high above the other
Grimtuck, are you alright?
No, I mean, I just need a couple minutes. I'm gonna just kind of sit on the ground for a second and just sort of breathe.
Metolius will make his way to the head of the creature.
Okay.
And then
So
try to
you'll have to
identify
actually
it, maybe?
jump down into the other room.
Oh, it like came out the...
Oh, yeah, he just like flew past Grimtuck into the other room.
Oh, well then never mind, I'll wait. I will stoop down in front of Grimtuck and I'll reach into a pouch on my belt and I'll pull out Keotum's ointment.
Okay.
And I will start applying salve to Grimtuck's wounds.
Thank you. There are some bites that got burned, I think. Did you guys see that? That lightning bolt was insane. It was huge.
I feared for
Was
your
it?
life.
I only heard it.
It hit me right in the face. Yes.
What was that like?
Terrifying. I thought it was going to be more like biting of me or trying to eat me, but it was insanely bright and it burned a lot.
That sounds terrible.
Closest I've ever come to dying, I'm pretty sure. So you guys were all there for that.
This
pretty
application will give you 12 hit points back.
Thank you, friend Metolius.
I'd like to go into the move into the larger chamber like an oogle. What do I see?
Okay. You see, as you kind of look down, this high point only sits about 10 feet above the ground, but again, another pile of kind of debris below you, as though this was carved out and pushed. And inside you see another, this one more reminiscent of the entryway. It seems to be, from where you're standing, a little higher than the entryway, but it does seem as though this was maybe a hallway of whatever this connecting tunnel was originally. And actually, Elduin, as you look to your right, you see the pile of stones that seem to block your initial entry.
So I see stones to my right.
So you see a downgrade and then stones at the base of it, which cover that archway.
Yep. Okay.
And then on your left, you see a path about 10 feet down, and then expand into a wider opening, and then kind of curves around at the far side. And then in front of you, you see a tunnel that leads into another archway that seems to elevate a little bit more, probably at 10 more feet into a higher chamber, but that also widens greatly.
Gotcha. And is there anything that looks threatening?
Not in front of you.
Great. I'm gonna go over to
There's a giant pile of snake ribbons.
I'm gonna go look at that, and I'm gonna go look at its mouth because I'm very curious about this whole lightning mouth thing.
Okay. You dig into its corpse. You find a battery.
It's just hitting a drum repeatedly. Just duk, 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 duk.
Metolius holds out his arm to help Grimtuck stand up after applying salve.
Fair. Alright. I'm good. I'm okay. Good as a stretch.
Rain, Amelia, how are you?
I'm okay. Grimtuck, though, you look like you could use a little bit more help.
I mean,
And she's gonna reach out and touch him and use healing hands and heal you for 8 points.
Okay. Say if we just want to give it a second, I'll be better. But I mean, I don't know if we really want to hang out in here that long. This place is kind of crazy.
I want to see what this
7?
strange
8?
creature was.
You said 8 hit points?
Yes.
Okay.
And you jump down to go check it out.
Yep.
I'd like you to roll another nature check. Unless you guys want to do it together, as one of you gets advantage for both your knowledge.
I am decent at nature, usually. When I'm not rolling like garbage.
I'm a little mo better.
You're a little more better. Alright, I'll give you advantage.
Okay.
You guys talk it out. You work out.
We'll hash it out.
Yes.
Gosh, damn it.
With advantage.
So close. Oh, right, advantage. Better, 15.
Elwyn, you've heard bits and pieces of creatures like this, almost draconic, but almost like failures in that sense of nature, not ones that stay on land. Metolius, you know the name of this creature to be a Bahir. It's a cavernous, crawling creature, one that loathes dragons and what they are, one that uses its almost draconic heritage to spring forth attacks such as lightning.
I believe this is a Bahir, some sort of
Oh, a Bahir.
ancient creature, despises dragons.
Interesting.
I'd heard tell of one, but I didn't know anything more.
Perhaps.
They are dragon kin?
I
Okay.
I don't know. It had a lot of arms like a centipede,
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look like a dragon.
and they're very small. It was probably insecure about its small arms.
My father used to tell me stories about the giants and dragons fighting.
It's like if a dragon could be a corgi, almost. Its arms are just really small.
This just in, Bahirs are dragon corgis.
I'm really okay with that.
Do they have the same? Do their butts look
Your
the same?
father fought
Yes.
Bahirs?
No, my father told me stories of giants and dragons fighting some ancient war. I seem to recall he mentioned this creature fought for the giants.
Oh,
Maybe
against
it
the
was
dragons?
fought for the giants.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago, and when I was a child, so it's hard to remember all the details. But I do remember the name Bahir. Anyway, it is dead now.
I respect their prowess. The thing was...
It was a formidable predator.
Yes, it seems. But now it is away. It is gone.
Should we tear that lightning thing out of its mouth? Can you use that for anything?
Is there like an obvious lightning generator?
Where's the lightning organ at?
I mean, you could, I would say, if you wanted to try to carve it up to find... I don't think you know if there is one or not, but if you wanted to try, such as
I-
like
Is
an
there
eel.
scales?
I don't.
There are
and I wouldn't
scales.
be.
I mean, you could get scales, horns,
You
teeth,
could hack the
Yeah.
horn off or the teeth.
Yeah, let's take some pieces of
claws.
this thing. I bet you we could use something. Do
At
something
least
with it.
a trophy to remind us of this
I'm definitely taking some.
brief but harrowing encounter.
Does
'Cause
it have
that was
a-
like
does it-
18 seconds of stuff that just happened.
It was insane.
Yeah. I'm just gonna try and take a tooth.
If it wasn't for your +4, I would have been fucking dropped. For sure. So that was cool.
So anyone who wants to remove pieces, I'd like you to roll a survival check for me.
I'm good at that.
So, critical fail.
What were you trying to grab?
I was trying to grab some scales.
You try to peel off scales, and every time you do, you catch a portion of the skin that's just loose, and you start ripping. And sadly, nothing is left over of the scales you try to pull.
Thing came apart.
Amelia rolled a 13.
A 13? What were you trying to grab?
I was trying to take scales as well.
You're able to pull off, I would say, about 8 decent scales off the beer. They're pretty big, too. They're almost like rock hard scales that seem to line its back, giving it its natural armor.
I'll give 4 of them to Grimtuck.
Okay, you each have 4 Behir scales.
Thank you.
They are that deep kind of
You're very
midnight
welcome.
blue of its skin.
I'm yanking a tooth out too. Just to
That'll be a different roll.
Oh,
Do I get a tooth for an 8 on survival?
You're able to get
Oh.
most of a. It's a big tooth. You're able to get a nice portion of it.
Cool.
21 on
You don't get to
mine.
pull out the root, but you know.
I'm satisfied. I'm gonna put it in the bag of holding.
Okay.
How big is the horn
The horn.
in terms of space? Like,
I would say it's probably about a foot in length. Like, it's curled, so it's about a foot wide. In like if you sheared it off,
okay,
Be
does
about
a 10?
a
Would
10
a
would
10
get you a
work?
basic. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a pretty shearing, but it's a sheared.
And I got 21 on my teeth attempt.
You, on the other hand, remove the root and pull out the incisor.
Metolius will also try for a tooth.
Okay. Everybody's just keep trying to pull at this thing.
22.
Nice.
You pull the other Grimduck, you pull the right fang, Metolius pull the left fang, although you sadly pulled one of the bottom pieces of the jaw that kind of hit the ground,
I got
which is
this-
why it was...
I got the sad tooth. Yeah.
It did, I'm sorry. Hit the ground first.
Yeah.
Can you do it?
I forget.
So you stand now in the room, this room. Rain, you have not notably come down, but I'm guessing you probably...
Yeah, I mean, I'm following.
Okay, you all join into this odd T-junction. To your right, again, is a downward slope and the pile of rubble that seems to be what you saw at the beginning. In front of you sits an open portal, quote-unquote, just another archway leading into a much larger room. And then to your left, the room opens up to a slightly wider room with a giant column in the center and a bit more of those like rocks here and there. You also see at the very far end another one of those piles.
So, DM, point of order. We all left our torches in the other room.
Yes, you did.
How dark is it in here?
It's pretty damn dark.
Okay.
No light seems to come through the covered rock, but again, most of you can see in the dark. Amelia, can you?
I can.
Yeah, everyone can see in the dark. It's very low. Effectively, you can see about like very lightly in front of you.
It's low light vision or low light right now instead of just completely dark.
Yeah,
For you guys?
but you still like.
Well, in
Well,
that
I mean, I
case,
dark vision,
Amelia's
so-
going to reach into her component pouch and she's going to pull out...
Wait, brand.
My
Does
sword is glowing, but
the brand go away when it dies?
no, but it only lasts a minute, so it would
By
fade
this point,
out
yeah, it would have faded out. by
a
now.
while ago.
She pulls out a small vial with a firefly in it and reaches up and places it in the loop of her staff, and it seems to float there as it bursts with a bright light as I cast the light cantrip.
Okay,
I forget for our game, what do we count as a short rest?
half an hour to an hour, depending on how you're sitting.
Okay, cool. Just curious.
Sitting
8.
cross-legged.
Yes.
Alright. Never mind. Wasn't sure if it was shorter. If it was
It's
shorter,
not.
I was gonna just kick it for a second.
It's supposed to be an hour. We've
Yeah.
pushed it to a half an hour at times, but
Yeah.
we're mostly keeping it to that.
No worries.
But yeah, so you again find yourself to your left, spreading room in a kind of turned corridor, as well as another one of these piles of rubble and debris that seems to be carved out.
Do you think this thing collects stuff? Because it looked like a dragon, and dragons collect stuff.
I think it's worth looking around.
See if I could use any type of a survival skill to try and figure out if it's, like, if I can track where it's been, if it has any type of, like, you know, place it was heading to.
I'll let you roll a survival with disadvantage on that, being that you don't know the layout of this area and you don't know exactly how it would move through this area as well.
Metolius has lots of practice with guiding and forest
That is true.
survival, so he will help.
Okay. That I would say that makes it an even playing field.
Okay. Not great. 6.
A 6. I mean, your assumption on the holes in the ceiling probably would be a good one to follow, but you're unaware where that will get you or where it would be from here, and you don't even know how large the layout of this thing is. So, but
Well,
again,
we still haven't found a way out either, so
Nope.
perhaps we should rest and bind our wounds if there are any, as he patches the dried blood off the back of his skull.
I,
and
for one,
stuff.
wouldn't mind taking a breather. I almost got eaten. I mean, just a little bit.
I mean, you did get eaten.
I did. Well, I mean, I feel like eating involves getting shit out.
Oh, that's true.
But I mean, it's okay. It's
You were swallowed.
that's true. I can't deny that.
hey, I mean, at one point you had full cover from these guys.
Yeah, true.
Metolius will just put his hand on the back of his head and put 5 points of lay on hands into my own brain pan.
Somewhere.
Yeah, sorry
breathe.
about that.
It's okay.
Okay, so you all take a moment as the light cantrip glows the room up.
And we're taking a short rest.
I believe that seems to be what is happening.
Well, if we're gonna take a rest, let me help you a little bit more. And she's gonna reach out and touch you and cast.
Nope, that's fine. I hold up, point to my gem on my thing, and be like, "Save it. I promise you, I'll be fine." And I point to my red periaptive wound closure, and say, "I save your spells. I just need a minute." And,
I do regain my spells after a short rest.
Oh, okay then. I just get double hit dice when I roll my dice. So I was
It would
like,
keep you from using them.
That's true. Okay.
I mean, at least a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
It's true.
That's fair. For some reason, I thought it was once a day. Okay. Yeah, sure. We're all very nice adventurers. No, allow me. No, but of course, no.
No, I want to heal you.
I'm not gonna sit still for the short rest, and I'm just gonna like walk 20 feet down one corridor, walk 20 feet down the other, like well within sight of everybody, but just kind of like I'm gonna be a little nosy down the corridors.
Okay,
Metolius goes with.
Okay, so 20 feet down the right corridor gets you to the giant wall of rubble.
That's 15, 21, 26, plus 5, 31 points of healing.
Sheesh.
87, 88. Yeah, that'll do it. Let's do that. I'll roll one hit die just to max it, just to get there where I need to be. So 2 plus 5 is 7. Oh wait, it gets doubled.
And add your con one.
Yeah, as I said. So I'm back. I'm back, baby.
So in the process,
I was never chewed up and swallowed and
hit
lightning
the face.
bolt.
Lightning.
in the process of this all kind of happening as Elduin and Metolius search. So the first, they take the right path, which leads you down the decline and to the giant pile of rubble. Then you go forward from where you all are standing below the hole that the creature has dug. You walk 20 feet into there and you find this wide open room, about 70 feet by 80 feet wide, still about 30 feet high ceilings, and the incline up to where it is seems to put you at almost maybe 20 feet to 30 feet depending from the initial position you were at.
Can we get a revised advent calendar with what we've discovered so far?
Sure. And then you take as you look down that way, you see a wide open, you see two giant columns in the center, one in the very dead center, another farther off to your right. Boulders kind of stuck throughout, another rubble. And you do notice that to your left, as you're standing in this wider room, to your left, there seems to be a narrowing corridor that seems to disappear farther than what you can see from where you're standing at 20 feet in. And then as you take 20 feet down to your left, you see this, again, kind of center column corridor rubble, a little bit more of that kind of refuse against the wall. And you actually notice now, walking 20 feet in, you notice another hole high up. in the wall, and I will again show you this. And then a corridor as you're facing it to your right. This gets confusing when you're walking around. To your right, that kind of lopes around and disappears out of sight.
I see. And nothing that looks like a nest of any kind?
Not from where you're standing, no.
And no daylight in any of these rooms?
Well,
or any noticeable brightening, or
not from how far you could get in, no.
Okay.
So the main corridor from the rocks to our left, basically, that seems like it was like a constructed corridor, right? Like that's like a path.
The main corridor you are standing on seems like a path.
Yeah. And what if I were to just continue walking down that path, can I tell what I would get to?
That's where the corridor off to your kind of like right goes and disappears around the corner. So
Gotcha.
I'll show you. I'll show you guys. This is what you see. Again, be careful. Advent calendars don't work that well. So this is the wide open room, 80 by 90 feet, that kind of curves up and then goes down to a ever receding corridor. Then this is where you're standing basically, and you go down here to find the other pile of rubble, and then kind of that curved off, and then that's the pile of rubble that seemingly was at the front.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep. And I almost knocked off another one of these.
How dare you!
So while they're off searching, Rain's gonna stay kind of close to Amelia and Grimtuck.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm still definitely really confused as to who Amelia is, and, like, concerned as to why she's, like, suddenly traveling with us.
Sure.
And, like, while she's, like, healing Grimtuck, I kind of want to do an insight check to see if, like, her concern for him is genuine to me.
Okay.
So where Grimtuck was standing, where the G is, I could draw 2 lines to form the tunnel of the...
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to do that for clarification.
No worries.
17 on my insight.
She seems pretty honest and with it about that kind of situation. She seems caring and worried.
Okay.
And where that G is, so straight across, and the 2 squares below straight across is where the end of the tunnel is. So if it's straight across and then 2 down is where the exit is. Am I making sense?
So like an L shape?
More like in diagonal down.
Oh, I see.
Catty corner, I think, is that the term?
Oh, whoops. Oh well. Got it.
Okay.
I think Metolius would move further southward on the map.
Leaving your party behind as they heal their wounds? Because they're taking at least half an hour.
No, I mean, so Elduin, when Elduin sort of travels down that path and seeing that it bends around, will be like, he'll head back to the rest of the party.
I won't change elevation, but I will continue to head southward.
Okay, so as you head southward, you get into that room with a column. You go to the right and head south. You see 2 more columns kind of blocking the path. Ahead of you sits what seems to be somewhat of a higher elevation, very forward in front of you, past the 2 columns. It seems to rise up and kind of out of your sight. But then there is a pathways. Actually, from where you're standing, you probably couldn't see it. Past the columns, it'd be hard to see anything just straight past, because they're kind of lining the walls.
I stick my head past. I'm keep going as long as I'm on the same elevation.
Okay.
So I'm going to go past these 2 columns.
You see a long corridor down to your left, and 2 giant boulders kind of blocking the way, leading a very thin path in between. And then wide opening on the other side, but you're not able to see exactly how it goes from where you're standing.
I'll take the time to scout, as that's what...
Metolius has disappeared from your vision.
As Metolius is getting near the edge of my vision, I'm going to turn her back and sort of like loud whisper, and she'll be like, "Be careful, Metolius. What if this Behir had a mate?
Maybe you're right.
We should not be going solo anywhere."
I strike a torch and poke my head around the corner of between the 2, the bouldery...
Okay.
The bouldery area.
As you push forward with a torch now, you notice the flame kind of flicker back behind you. The same kind of situation where air is moving past you, and you see a wide open T junction. Don't go too far with that.
I'm not.
You see a wide open
Hello, big
T-junction
boy.
going both to the way you're facing, effectively to the right and to the left. In front of that, though, there is a giant pile of rubble, and high above, there's another opening in the ceiling where another one of these tunnels exists.
Okay, I'm done. I'll go back.
Okay.
Heeding Eldwin's advice, I go back.
Okay. Eldwin, you make it back to the... Well, you can actually... You've explained...
That's how much has been explored.
Yeah.
And I explain what I've seen. I think there is air flowing through here from outside, from back the direction we came.
When your father told stories of these creatures, did he say if they are of a hive? Do they nest with others?
This was a long time ago. He just told me about things that fought with the giants against dragons called the Hears.
Okay. I mean, now that we know what they're capable of, I doubt that we'll be caught unaware again.
I did not stray too far just in case. And I think keeping more lights is better than not. Thank you, Amelia. This is quite a helpful gift you have.
Of course.
All right.
While we're resting,
Yeah.
Metolius will turn to Amelia. Last night you spoke of washing up on the shores of this land. Do you remember anything before then?
I do not know if I washed up or not. When I woke, I was completely dry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It sounded your story. I was confused.
I just
It sounded like-
don't know how I got there.
Oh, I thought you found yourself on a beach,
I was on a beach, yes.
but dry,
Correct.
so not seemingly washed up. Do you remember anything before yesterday when you found yourself in this land?
It was more than just yesterday. As I said, I was traveling for about a month before I ran into the lot of you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant, do you remember more before? Do you remember before that day that you found yourself in this land?
Sorry, I misunderstood. I don't really know. I remember small details about myself, but
You don't
nothing
remember
of
where
what
you
I've
grew
done.
up, where your parents came from?
I don't.
Did you meet anybody else in the months that you do remember?
I mean, I met people, but I tried to stay away from them as much as possible. I tried to spend as little time in towns as I could, and when I had to, I tried to stay inconspicuous as to not draw attention.
I'm curious of the other people on this island. I'm curious of the other cities and civilizations. None of this lines up. None of this makes sense. Nobody understands this conflict that's supposedly happening.
Metolius would like to determine if Amelia is telling the truth as far as she knows.
Okay. Do it.
Natural 20.
I think, by all rights, Amelia...
As far as I believe, I am telling the truth.
Metolius just looks around to the party and says, "It's very strange, but I have to say I believe your story, as much as that sounds bizarre that one would not remember where they came from."
It is. I still find it bizarre. It was quite concerning at first, and then I began receiving those visions, and for some reason was calmed and felt that that was my purpose.
So you had no knowledge of us when you came to on that beach. It was only after time that you received these visions.
I had my first vision as I sat there after waking, and that was the first.
Okay.
Why such a dour look, Rain?
Oh, no reason. Don't even worry about it.
Perhaps we should worry about you. You do not remember what even occurred last night.
Yeah, that's pretty strange. I guess I just drank too much. I don't know.
It is strange, especially if this has happened before, as they say.
It has happened before. Some other strange event happened around the same time. But I I helped a woman who was in a state, and I tried the same thing with Rain, but it did not appear to take.
Strange. What kind of state?
It's like none of us existed. She
She was dead behind the eyes. She walked.
she
Sat.
she knitted. She went about her daily routine. I believe is what it looked like to me, but she couldn't see us. What is the word?
I feel like if you would have cut her,
Catatonic?
yeah, I don't believe she would have noticed had you wounded her.
I mean, after the
Do
fight,
you know
was
what?
I acting strange at all? Was I
No.
seemed with it?
You seemed to pick up every word. You did not seem that intoxicated to me. And I have had a good bit of drink in my day.
Yeah, you normally can handle your booze pretty well. I've seen it.
Yeah, and usually.
But this is a strange place. We are far from home, most of us, I believe. So,
You didn't drink that much comparatively. Drank a lot more the night Loud Scout died.
Yeah.
Any gaps that night or that next day?
No, Grimtuck, I remember
good.
pretty much everything.
Okay, that's fine. That'd be weird.
insight check. Ten.
It's hard to tell. She seems to be promoting a
Suddenly
sense
gets
of,
awkward for a moment.
It does. The whole room kind of has an air of like, but it's hard to tell.
But I can't pick up what the awkwardness is about.
No, it's kind of right down the middle. She could be putting on a show for you, or she could actually remember fully.
Well, if we're all patched up, maybe we should press on. We do have a mountain to finish climbing.
And we don't know if there's going to be more of those things.
I would like to explore more of these caverns.
I agree. If that was
Yes.
the worst of it, if it dug these holes, then there's no reason why we shouldn't use them.
The passageway I found with the two boulders had air coming through, so maybe we should explore these rooms that.
Do not.
Yes.
I agree. It would have not hidden its hoard if it has one anywhere near where there's airflow. We would want to go to the darker parts of this cavern. That is if these things even hoard things. It looked dragonish. I don't know.
It spoke. It had intelligence
Yeah.
of a sort, so I think it's reasonable to assume, at least.
Well,
Okay.
I say lead the way.
You now find yourselves, after a short rest, learning that there is movement of air ahead of you, and that there are many pathways around. You decide to group up once again and continue forward. Where would you like to go?
Up the passage.
I vote.
There are so many ways you could go with just up the passage.
Yeah.
Why don't we... So if we're looking southward on the map,
Yeah,
in the orientation of the map,
of the map, yes.
why don't we start on the right side?
You're right. So down
If we were facing right.
down the first hallway you went down.
Yeah, the
You by
one with
yourself.
the one that Eldwin and I went to the immediate right.
Okay, to the large room. Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. Is that
And
what
then
you-
work our way counterclockwise.
Yes.
Does that work for everyone?
Yeah, I'm fine with
Sure.
that. That makes
Sure.
sense.
Yep.
So you all
Always go left and then wipe the party.
Yeah.
Is what I learned.
So you all stand and push forward through this archway and up another incline, rising now as before to this about 20 feet higher than what you could imagine your initial position was as you entered this cave. With torch in hand, Metolius, you also notice that the air seems to flow to your right as you're standing there, as though the air path continues, which seems to lead to a decline downwards and kind of around a corner. And then in front of you sits a wide open room, giant columns, one right in the dead center, one kind of on the upper right, boulders here and there. Now that you know what you're looking for, you're able to parse out 2 more of these kind of carved tunnels high to the ceiling. One at the very far wall on the opposite side, one to your almost immediate right as you enter this room, and it seems to go back towards the hallway you were just in.
Okay.
And then you now stand just at the entryway, the archway of this gigantic room.
I don't know. I think the entrance is back this way and point to the right. And maybe we should go left then, I think.
I'm
Seems
fine with
logical
that.
to me.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
did we look through the other room, the one that the Bahir tried to take me into? Did we make sure there were no other exits, like in the ceiling or
This
anything?
is the
That's where we went.
Oh no, I know. That's where we're at now. I guess. Sorry. Then in this room, have we found any other exits?
Well, if you ask it in character, I'm not going to respond. So,
Yeah, I'm asking these guys.
yeah.
Oh,
I was just sitting there
in
with
the
my
room
head
that
between
the encounter started in.
No, you're
okay.
you stopped
We're on
your
the
short
opposite
rest.
side.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
that's
stopped
about
your
right.
short rest right
Right.
below that tunnel, and now you're walking into the large room that you and Elduin first walked into.
Right.
Right, effectively ahead of you.
Yep.
There was an exit to that room. We did not. We didn't investigate it. We didn't have time. You got dragged off by that thing.
Yeah, it's fair. All right. Yeah, I'll follow you guys. Let's just do this thing.
Okay. So you push forward into this room. What you do see, now that the light kind of shines around this huge room, but you're able to see... Amelia, do you still have the light on?
I do.
Okay, so even better, you can see now that it turns off to the right and downwards, and you get a quick glimpse of a few bits of stone that you had seen in the entryway, as this seems to kind of turn back around to the entry as it declines down there. Now, to your left, that small, across the floor, there is a smaller, kind of receding tunnel, about 15 feet wide, and about 15 feet down from the edge of the wall, and then there's a very small archway, almost probably more like 10 feet tall and about 5 feet wide, that seems to branch out past your sight. It's hard, the light doesn't seem to really break. It's not like it's...
This one looked man-made or carved by...
It's hard to tell. You could roll a nature check for me if you want to kind of give it a once-over.
8.
8. It's rounded enough to be man-made, but this could have easily been something worn away by age and time.
Okay.
But again, that kind of, the light dissipates. You see a way, like a pathway, but then darkness around it. So you can't see super far down that way.
I guess just keep going.
As we walk, Amelia's going to pull her book out of her harness and start flipping through the pages.
Okay.
And approach Grimtuck and say, I know we just rested, but let's hope that doesn't happen again. And I'm going to reach out and touch him with my staff as I say the incantation for guidance.
Okay.
What does that do?
You get added D4 to your next ability check.
Oh. I feel a little bit better.
Can I ask the marching order?
I'll take the point again.
Okay.
Well,
Which would mean I'm somewhere near the front then.
Then Grimtuck Amelia.
Rain was scouting last time. Are you wanting to scout ahead? I mean, I don't mind taking point. If there's more of those things, it probably should be me up front.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely don't mind. But
No,
I
how
don't
about
wanna
I
count
just do it?
too far ahead.
I'll be in the back.
Okay.
How about I'll just take point?
Metolius.
I'll be
I'll
right
be-
behind Grimtuck with the light.
I'll be back with Eldwin.
Okay. So
And
So-
then I'm gonna try to stealth. Might as well.
then we're going Grimtuck Amelia, Rain, Metolius, Elduin.
Sounds good to me.
And you try to stealth? Grimtuck, go for it.
Not natural 20.
Okay, you believe you are quite stealthy. Followed by your 3 companions as you walk past the giant column in the center towards the left kind of exit that seems to be smaller, but there. Grimtuck, Amelia, and Rain, roll a perception check for me. Actually, all of you.
Let me see the map as we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because I assume we're just uncovering stuff as we go.
Grimtuck got 19.
9 for Reen.
Amelia got a 10.
19.
13 for Metolius.
I unveiled it already.
Okay.
19, 9, and 10. Metolius? 13.
That is correct, 13.
14.
14. So as the three of you kind of walk across this floor, Grimtuck, especially you, but also Metolius and Elduin, you hear the sound of crack.
Can I tell the direction it's coming from?
Under our feet, maybe?
Under your feet. As the three of you start walking out,
Dive backwards.
you do that.
See if I can like tackle and move everybody back if I can, or at least just kind of throw myself backwards.
You can throw yourself backwards. You can try to make an athletics check to jump them, but I'm going to make you try to do it.
Okay, what do you mean jump them? Like move
Just
them?
make an athletics check to tackle them effectively.
Okay. That's my shit.
You can add your guidance.
Well, I don't even need to. I don't think I got a 23. Is it just in my next ability check, like inspiration, and then it goes away, or does it stick around?
I think it's your next one.
Oh, okay. So
It
I
only
have to add
it only lasts a minute, I
Oh.
believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, it lasts up to a minute.
Did it expire, or should I use
It's
it?
to one ability check of your choice. It doesn't have to be the next one.
God damn it.
Oh.
It's just sometime before the
Are you
spell
gonna
ends.
use it?
Well, if it only lasts a minute, right? Or did I miss that? Yeah.
Yeah, it does last
Okay.
a minute.
There's no point in not using it. So I got 23, 24, 25.
25. Are you two willing, if you see Grimtuck turn and jump towards you, to be tackled?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. How secure is the firefly in your staff?
It's like floating there.
Magically?
Yeah.
Never mind. Rain and Amelia, you don't notice what's happening. Metolius and Elduin, you do hear that slight crackle underneath the feet of Grimtuck, and you see him, in that sense, turn quickly and tackle the two women off to the ground. And as they skitter across, you notice a small piece of stone fall out from the floor where your foot was, Grimtuck. And then you don't hear it land.
Okay. So does it look like they've made
can I
it
see-
past a dangerous section?
No, I thought Grimtuck went backwards toward us.
Sure, but
He
did he
did.
make it out of
I
the?
see.
Did he make it out of the danger area?
Well, I think the force of him hitting the ground might have
Proven that.
Yeah.
proved.
Sorry.
I
I'll
mean,
stand up and help you guys up. Sorry,
We don't
I
hear further
That
crackling.
was... I don't know what that was, but...
So,
That seems
a little
terrifying.
dot
At
on
least
the-
you're safe.
Well, we all are. That point out there. Floor gave away. There's
And you
no
actually still
floor.
see it. There's just a hole now, and a slight bit of like breeze kind of seems to come up through, and now this odd, almost whistling sound echoes out of that small hole. At this moment, you hear far off down that hole.
Like it finally hit.
Yeah. If I just like investigate the floor, does it look like there's? Can I isolate?
You can
where
roll
it
an
looks like?
you can roll an investigation check.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I just want to. I try and isolate where the weak spots
Sure.
are.
And it's pretty lit in here because of all the lights.
It's true. And with it being magic, it's not put out.
12.
12. You're able to kind of parse out this. At least you're able to parse out 15 feet from the column to the wall. There seems to be that same slack, broken old stone. So at least within 5 feet ahead of you and 15 feet along that kind of corridor. You, Elduin, find it to be dangerous.
Corridor going this southward.
Yeah, from the column to the corner of that like
Got it.
smaller entrance or exit. You do find that those 15 feet area seems to be of that same make. Other than that, you can't really tell.
Look, do you see there? That same stone, it seems to make its way all the way across this corridor.
Spidering cracks throughout it.
This seems very dangerous. Perhaps we should try our luck at the other corridor.
Yeah, I don't chasms. Last time, I nearly fell to my death.
Yeah, let's not attempt it if we don't need to.
Yeah, if we find it like absolutely necessary to know it's at the other end of this thing, I could walk across the ceiling to get over there. But
Even then, I would. How far is the room? Like, can we tell?
It looks like it goes down into. We can't
How
see.
far is the room? What do you mean?
From the our end to
From where you're standing, where you are laying now on the ground,
yeah.
crosswise, it's, what is it? It's 25 feet, or 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet across. And then to that entry, the small entryway from where you're standing, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, another 25 feet. So it's actually, sorry, listeners, it's a little bit, I mixed up my math. It's a little bit smaller of a room, but still quite a large room.
I would say
You can leave that out.
no reason not to scout it since we're here, but let's throw a rope around your waist just in case.
that's fair.
Okay. You tie a rope?
Good thinking.
Yeah, it saved my life once. So yeah, I'll bust out
Yeah.
my silk rope
Okay.
that I have. I'll affix one end to myself, so I'll tie it around me. Toss the other end to Rain.
I would like you to roll a full-on survival check for that. For both.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
just one.
I rolled that right out of my dice box, so it was a good roll too. Actually, that's not bad. 17.
Okay. You feel as though you've tied it ship-shape there, Mr. Grimtuck.
Used to work on a ship.
I know. Hence the pun.
Wait, am I tying my own?
No.
Okay.
I
Grimtuck
got
ties it
you.
around you.
Take this torch. It's pitch black in there, and you might be able to pick up something.
Yeah, that's fair. I have dark vision, but like that would help a
If
lot.
it's pitch black, you
Yeah.
still
All right.
need a torch.
So I take the torch and I have the rope tied around me, and I start just kind of going up the wall and onto the ceiling and across.
Okay. So you
as
go
far as
up
I
the
can
wall.
See. I
and
can see the cracks in the ground, right?
You can see the cracks in the ground, and now you can see the hole where that happened. You can go around that wall, around the corner, and down to this, like, the small, like, 15 by 15 foot square, which ends in that little, like, 10-foot tall archway
Right.
at the most southern point of this room.
Like as I'm going across, I want to stop over the hole and like look through it and see if I can see anything at all.
Okay.
Or if it's
Roll a
just black.
perception check.
3.
Even torch in hand, the light seems to barely penetrate past the hole.
Got it.
It's not a very big hole, so it's
That's
hard to see.
Kind of what I figured.
Want me to lower you down there?
Rain, stop looking directly at the torch.
I can always pull you back up.
Maybe.
It took
Let
a
me-
long time to hit bottom.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll actually be able to see anything, but.
And
let
also,
me
it
just-
isn't like a human-sized hole at the moment.
It could be.
Well, that's what I was thinking
Yeah,
too,
it's okay.
but.
Let's avoid that.
Yeah.
So you continue around the, kind of taking the corner and walking down the other side,
Yep.
continuing towards the archway on the southern point?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you move down to the floor at all once you're past that kind of
Would
dodgy?
that make them lose sight of me?
I mean, they're standing at pretty much the edge, so no.
Okay. Like, that's my.
Especially with the torch.
I want to go as far as I can without them losing sight of me.
You could pass through the small archway and probably about 10 more feet before they fully lose sight of you.
Okay, well, if I'm going into a, like, brand new room, I want to do it, like... I mean, I guess I'm holding a torch. It's not going to be very stealthy, but, you know.
And again, in this area, in this, like, 15-foot...
I
There's
guess I
a
can at least do it quietly.
5 foot past the broken stone, or the kind of dodgy stones,
Mm-hmm.
there seems to be another slight rise up to where that archway sits.
Okay,
Just about a 5 foot rise.
okay.
And now, as you kind of, like, land...
Try the stone there.
Wait, what now?
Try the stone there.
Okay.
See if it cracks under your weight.
Oh, I
just
see, I
walk
see.
back since I
Right.
have you on the rope, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah?
So, let...
How?
It's right there in
Right
front
there.
of you.
So,
That way we can tell which areas are treacherous and not.
Well,
so you see...
sorry to ask, Rain, but how much do you weigh?
130.
Okay. So, I'm going to hear you saying that, Grimtuck. I'm going to be like, Grimtuck, you realize you're quite a bit heavier than she is.
Yeah, no, I got that much. What do you mean?
If she walks across a stone, it could hold her weight, but not yours.
Well, that's fine. I figured last time, I'll just hook up the rope, and then you all hold the other end, and then I can jump pretty far. Who knows? As long as the rope is attached to the other end, I'll be fine.
How's it look, Rain?
Oh, wait, so... Well... No, never mind. That might be too noisy. So, yeah, what can I... Like, if going past this archway, what can I see?
You actually... So you go down to the floor,
How far down is the floor?
From where you're standing?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how far up you went, because wouldn't have to go super far up. You didn't say how far up you went.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
'Cause you went
I thought
along
you
the
meant
wall.
like past the archway, the floor was lower. Okay.
No, past the broken stones, the floor
Right.
rises slightly to the archway.
I would say that after like it doesn't look cracked anymore, I would go down to the floor.
Okay. As you walk onto the ground below it, it seems to hold your weight just fine.
Okay.
And as you now move up the rise to the archway?
Yeah.
Okay. As you push through, there are 3 fine columns kind of these like natural juts from the floor to ceiling kind of holding place, seemingly almost holding the roof up as you kind of walk through. You make it to the archway and you stare out to see a chasm on either side of a very fine 5-foot long plank-like stone just
Walkway. Oh.
Jinx.
Ah.
Ah,
So then, does the walkway look man-made?
a bit.
Okay.
I mean, it is a 5-foot wide stone walkway in the middle of a chasm. It's hard to say that it isn't
Right.
made by hand and not by the elements themselves.
And like, can I see the bottom of the chasm from
You can
here?
look down and roll me a perception check with your torch.
19.
Nope.
Well, fuck that then.
That's what I felt about the last chasm.
Do you see anything in there that's out of the ordinary?
DM?
I mean, with the light shining, you can see that this goes down about 15, 30, 35 feet to a platform in the center, and then turns off another 20 feet to another entryway, as though this was a shortcut of some kind, maybe, from
Okay.
this initial kind of walking path.
Alright, well, yeah, I explain that to you. I come back, I would say, obviously avoiding the cracks in the ground. And, yeah, explain to you guys. Giant chasm, 5-foot walkway.
Nothing that looks like a giant lightning spewing snake monster's nest.
Not that I could see. But I also couldn't see the bottom of the chasm, so.
I still say we go and try the other route.
I am inclined to agree with you.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go back to the room where the creature first attacked us, and then start from there.
Okay.
Sure, sounds like a plan.
Unhook the rope. Push it back.
Would you guys like to crawl back through the tunnel that you got into this with, or go back to the entrance that you...
Let's go back to the area where we rested and then head up the stairs.
Stairs?
Mm-hmm.
There's no stairs.
Well, up the ramp, right?
Well, I mean, it back to the place you rested would get you. The only way close enough would be back through the tunnel to get to the
Can I see the map?
Yeah.
And so
Rain
I'm proposing we go
looks
this
down.
way.
This. Okay, so that's not the way you initially came. I think Metolius said where you first attacked, which is this room.
Totally. I'm just thinking that we should
That
head.
Okay.
We should head that direction.
Y'all do whatever you want.
Sure. Let's just go straight south.
Straight south.
Yes. Let's do that.
So, you all make it back into the room you rested in. Walking southwards down, you find another 2 of the kind of carved tunnels high in the ceiling. And then, as you take that first turn, Metolius, you push through the 2 columns and past them. You see behind the rubble to the further south down, you see a small archway similar to the one that Rain had walked down. Yep, pull that one.
Oh, right, and then there's the boulders that I squeezed past
Yep.
before.
And then to your left, looking down, are the 2 boulders you squeezed through before, where you also felt the air currents.
That's where I went before I came back, and we finished binding our wounds.
As he points to 2 giant boulders blocking the way, giving very little, but a fine kind of path to walk through.
It's like 3 or 4 foot wide, maybe.
Oh, that's a tight fit.
Suck it in.
Ah, think
Seidel.
thin. Think thin, Grimtuck.
Think then.
Push through to the other side of the boulders.
Okay. You
And-
find yourself all together now at a T-junction. To your right, standing there, seems to be a path that goes about 15 feet and turns hard to the effectively the right again and disappears out of sight. To the left seems to be a column next to a pile of rubble, and then that turns quickly, basically turns to the left and goes forward out of your sight as well. On the other hand, are you still standing with your torch, Metolius?
Yeah.
The air flow seems to push the flames to the left, as though air is coming from the right.
Okay.
Grimtuck, are you still in the lead?
I was, but I think Metolius grabbed it up. But I could go back in front of the lead too.
I think Metolius squeezed through and then waited for everyone else to
Yeah.
squeeze through, and then we're all just kind of clustered there in this T-junction.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I mean, again, even just at the T, it's only a 20-foot square, so you're all kind of clustered very close.
Yeah. Alright, let's do this.
Let's go north around this corner.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it leads back to the room we were ambushed in.
Sure. This place is turning out to be quite labyrinthian.
And again, in front of you, now that you're all standing there with...
I just look at him with like a, yes.
Very astute, Grimtuck.
Once again, another of these high tunnels is seen as the torchlight catches the kind of darkness that sets, now that you know what you're looking for. That sits right in front, as you're standing in front of the two stones that made that fine corridor. At the effectively north, south, east wall, in front of that sits another one of those high corridors. So then if you take a northwise, go past the column and past the...
Rubble.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see another hallway ending in an arch.
Whoever's taking the lead, Amelia wants to come up behind them and do the incantation for guidance again.
Sounds like Metolius is taking the lead now.
Sure.
I mean,
I'll be side by
Who
side
is
with them, but yeah, Metolius, you sounds like you're heading this up.
You guys can hold hands and walk together.
Metolius will go because the air is pushing his torchlight further this way. And we'll turn down the corner and...
so you're going the opposite way the air is coming.
No, we're going with the airflow.
Not the way the air is coming from, but where
The way
air...
it's going.
Thank you. Okay. So you follow it around, and you see the small archway leading to what seems to be another junction, a wall in front of you. Do you walk past the arch? You see some rubble around the ground, and again...
Is there just a wall on the other side? You said it's a T-junction?
Mm-hmm. So 10 feet in a wall. And then off to the right and left, there seems to be more.
I will...
This place is busy.
I know. Should we go right? If I peek my head around and look...
If you peek through the,
To the left?
archway, you look to the left, it seems to be, as best you can tell from as far as your torch can go, it seems to be the room that you first got attacked in.
Great.
No.
It looks like it leads back. What do you all want to do?
No point in going back the way we came.
Oh, trying to ascend.
Then we'll go right.
Head to the right.
Alright.
Okay. As you push forward, Metolius, perception checks from everyone.
We should also maybe send Teak. Teak can see in the dark, right?
Teak is not
Teak is
around.
currently residing in the Feywild.
Oh, shit.
Teak is fucking done. Rain?
2.
Grimtuck?
That is 7.
Amelia got a 9.
Come on, more under
Metolius?
Before Metolius goes around the corner, he just says, "Be careful, everyone." And he got a 21.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit, elf boys, seeing stuff.
So, Eldwin, at the very end, I would say at the moment, at the end of the train of the party, Metolius, you at the front, you walk out onto this kind of square of ground outside of this archway, and you once again hear a solid crunch under your feet as you
Step
must
backwards.
make... Okay. I'd like you to make an athletics check to push yourself off.
Actually, I will just go.
21 and a 20 don't notice it before he steps on it?
I'll just go. I'll jump to complete.
You're not looking, you were listening.
If we're going right, I will just jump forward.
Okay. So then, yeah, make an athletics check to get off of this thing.
Ballsy, I like it.
23.
You see Metolius jump forward as you two specifically hear the crack under his feet as a whole panel a 5-foot square of stone just drops out from under him,
Oof.
giving
Be
him
careful!
I just fling myself to the ground.
Metolius, clambering on the ground, finds the ground seemingly strong enough to hold his weight from where he sits now.
Metolius, are you alright?
I look upwards, and I see more corridor, it looks like, and yeah, I think I'm fine. Did the whole thing fall away, or just like a small piece where my foot was?
The
again?
whole 5-foot square did.
Okay.
Want to do the rope thing?
Yes, we should probably.
Looking closely at the ground, is there a noticeable difference?
Do that perception check for me. I'll give you advantage because you can look now into a 5-foot hole.
I don't think I need it. 22.
Yes. Well, not only looking at the ground itself, but being able to see under this gigantic open chasm now, you notice that underneath about 10 more feet, there seems to be a worn away, just kind of column down below, as though something may have burrowed beneath it, leaving this to be a very tenuous floor plan.
Sneaky fucking Bahirs. Does it look like it has evidence of the Bahir doing it, or just it could be natural by water, or...
This looks more like intentional. This does not seem to be
Okay.
something that is naturally occurring, especially with the lack leftover floor work.
How well it was like...
And then,
Okay.
yeah, this does not look natural.
I think I know what to look for from now on, but be very careful, and Metolius will hold out his hand to whoever's next and help them jump this 5-foot gap.
Oh, is it only? It's a 5-foot gap.
Just a 5-foot square.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll walk up and stick my hand out, but be very, very careful, and like I'm testing the ground before I put my weight on it.
Okay. Being that both you are standing on it, nothing happens.
Uh-huh.
You are pulled
Great.
upon a 5-foot square where Metolius is standing and seems to be safe for now.
Nice.
Cool.
Around you sits more rubble and a giant column breaking the left turn at the end of the hallway.
Alright, well, let's jump that bitch.
Yep.
Metolius will help as many people as needed. Rain
Can I ceiling lock it?
Rain takes
Yes.
care of herself.
I actually technically could just do it as part of my movement based on my strength score.
Sure.
So,
That's true.
no.
Metolius was confident everyone could make it by themselves, but he was just trying to be a helpful,
Appreciate
Being polite.
helpful dude.
Okay. So you all make it across this now very visible chasm. And again, standing next to it, seeing the open hole, you can see the lack of support beneath what seems to be almost just this 20-foot or this 10-foot square where the floor would be. Leading down, you stand now in this kind of 15-foot corridor broken by a column in the center leading down a farther path that rises higher into this kind of odd menagerie of high and low peaks and valleys of a labyrinth. To the very immediate right, after this the first column, you see another one of those tunnels digging into the just above the ceiling, or just next to the ceiling.
Oh, Bahir tunnels.
Yes.
Okay. This is going up. Is there air coming through here?
No.
I'm willing to try it.
Your torch probably would have stayed just fine. That was 23. You're fine. You held your torch fine. It doesn't seem to move. It seems to stand almost perfectly still.
Although I do kind of want to finish exploring this ground level too.
I don't think this opens to the outside.
Alright.
The air is still in here. Is it stale or smelling?
Roll a smell check.
I want to sniff with my sniffer.
Hashtag sniff check.
Put your snout into it.
18.
18. It has a reek of something old, stale, and maybe even slightly rotten.
Ooh, let's go check that out.
Bahir poop?
Could be. Could be food. Could be mushrooms. Could be any number of things.
Let's go check it out.
I'm into
Could be
it.
the Duchess's food. Just thrown into a mountain.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I do know. But
Ascend the slope.
ascending the slope at the far end of this, you see another column almost blocking off the entire path, leading to a sharp northward turn. It's hard to press through, but you're able to kind of push your way through. Even Grimtuck, who does think thin and pushes past the column, leading to another corridor similar with two giant boulders set once again. This time, looking now almost seems intentional, as it helps to make the way not blocked but harder on you, as these two boulders on either side make a very, very fine path between them, leaving you no room to run, move.
Does it get stinkier as we go?
It does.
Maybe we found its nest. Grimtuck, would you like to go first?
Yeah.
I'll follow behind with the torch so we can see in case some kind of ambush lies in wait.
I'm definitely going to cast guidance on you.
Yeah, let's stealth on this one.
Okay.
No.
Stealth it up, Grimtuck.
Oh, critical fail.
Oh, no.
I mean, in that situation, don't worry about rolling that.
Yeah.
You really believe
Just really
you're
loud
stealth.
dude.
Okay.
There's a difference between a critical fail on an attack or like
Yeah.
some form of like not a stealth check.
I would
you
hope that
you
my
covered
friends would
Metolius
tell me
really
that I'm being
good because
too
Metolius
fucking
rolled an
loud.
18.
What's that?
I said I would hope that my friends would be like, dude, you're being too fucking
Shut
loud.
the fuck up, Grimtuck!
Like if it was by myself, I'd be like, I'm the stealthiest motherfucker alive. But I would hope that like
A couple steps in, you just get a smack in the back of the head from
Yeah.
Rain. It's like, that's not how you do it.
like
Amelia's
that's
going to
what
try and stealth too.
Do it. Your greatsword scrapes against the stone, making a loud metallic retching
just
sound.
throw my hands up in the air and be like,
Amelia got an 8.
just eat me now.
Just eat me.
Just
now.
eat me now.
Do this. We're doing this.
Elduin, are you stealthing as well, or are you just walking through?
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna try to be stealthy.
Okay. Amelia, you also rub the hard portions of your backpack on this, catch the metallic portions,
Oh no.
and make another hard scraping sound. Both of you
Solidarity.
making your presence very known.
Rain rolls
Meanwhile-
her eyes as she makes a 25 stealth check.
And Elduin got a 23 stealth check.
Damn.
I'm gifted in other
18,
ways,
right?
guys.
18.
So you watch as the two, Amelia, the newest party member, and Grimtuck, the biggest, make a mockery of the term stealth.
I'm gonna move just like a few feet further from them, like just like I'm not gonna be quite next to them.
Okay.
One of those you can't sit at our table things.
Yeah.
Okay.
More so, it's not that you have to stealth from the bear, it's that you have to stealth better than the other party members.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You only have to run as fast as, only a little bit faster than the slowest part.
It's really, yeah.
That's okay. I'm in the front, so maybe let's just think it's just two people.
So as you push through Grimtuck, you leading the pack, you find that the chamber kind of cinches in to a eastward from where you're standing now at the other end of the two stones. And you see another pile of boulders and a quick turn to southernwise.
Okay.
And as you all kind of push through over time, you also find this kind of quick U-turn in a way.
Keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
You push past the pile of boulders, and you now see 3 columns obscuring a good portion of your sight, leading down to an ever-widening tunnel at the end. And Grimtuck, as Amelia with her light, and Metolius at the back with his torch, ahead of you, your eyes see something glitter as the light shimmies across. Also, out of the corner of your eye, you see something meaty laying right around one of the columns, almost curled around it.
Uh-oh.
It looks blue as the light shines upon it. It looks very familiar.
Oh, shit.
And that smell, that disgusting rot, seems to grow as you get closer.
Is it moving?
I can see this as well.
Yeah.
I think you all can by the point. Grimtuck is just leading the pack. This is what he sees as everyone kind of turns the corner.
I'm going to throw
you begin to see
a
this.
alchemist fire in front of it.
Okay.
Illuminate the room.
Okay.
Uh,
Front of as in like in front of you, but behind it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hit it.
Yeah.
I'm just
so
going
you're
to-
aiming a little ways before it.
Yep.
Got it.
I'm gonna light up the entire room.
can I react to that?
to him throwing an alchemist fire?
So like grabbing and pulling something out of his pouch and trying to throw a thing.
Sure, sleight of hand, and I'd like you to make a...
Because here's the thing, I'm loud as fuck. You probably already heard me.
I'd like you to actually...
I
would like you to make a sleight of hand check, Elduin, and I would like you, Grimtuck, to make an opposing just dexterity check. Okay. Just pure.
Metolius is going to say, it would have heard us coming by now.
I made...
As you pulled it out of your...
I got a natural 20.
Oh, well, then you beat me.
So Grimtuck pulls out this bottle from his pouch and obviously is ready to throw.
I'm just going to grab his wrist.
Just stop it.
Grab his wrist.
No, okay, you grab his wrist and stop and stay his hand.
Mm-hmm. Wait. We should form a plan first.
As you all whisper there, and you now notice the glitter of something past the columns and the large meaty tail, and that smell hits your nose. It's almost sickening now. You're so
Do we hear breathing? Or...
Yeah, can we tell if the stink is coming from because it's dead or from its food
11.
or something?
11.
Amelia got an 18.
That's cocked as hell.
Grimtuck got a 7.
That's not a dirty 20.
You don't hear breathing, and I don't think you'd be able to exactly tell that, but the odd smell of sweet, sickly...
That's the smell of death.
Yeah, that's not... You know the smell. You recognize it, but you don't hear breathing, you don't see movement.
And is there a clear path from, like, where we are to the large blue body?
The tail kind of... If you look on the map, and now that you can... Yep. The tail kind of wraps around the very lowest pillar on that darkened area down there, off to where you can't see it anymore. But then the glittering kind of catches your eye past it.
Is there room to move past people?
Yeah.
I am just moving.
Yeah, I'm moving in too.
Okay. The two of you push past it.
Bunch
Another
of
kind
cats.
of fine...
That's what I'm saying.
Another fine corridor between the two columns, but you're able to push through. And now, Metolius, with your actual torch, you see this pile of coin and remnants of things.
He's not even looking at that. Looking at the blue thing.
Yeah.
Around the back of that pile of boulders that kind of almost frames... There's two piles of boulders that almost frame this pile of things and treasure. Behind the right pile of boulders, this long body seems to stretch around. But as soon as it gets about 5 feet from the tail where you're standing, you start to see bone protruding. Pieces missing, chunks gone. And then you also see what looks like could have been the very far end. Odd, leathery blue dishes. Half circles, almost deep, curved shapes. With a sickly...
Dishes?
That's all you can see.
Like tableware
More
dishes.
like
Scales.
eggs. Broken.
Oh,
Deep.
okay.
Curved eggs. Ripped asunder. The bits and pieces that are strewn everywhere are covered in this sickening, thick, like miasma.
Like something like... A miasma is like a gas. So, like, it just looks like something smashed the eggs? Or, like, it looks like some kind of plaguey sort of infection?
Everything here that you see looks eaten.
Okay.
The other thing killed this thing.
I think that's the case.
Yeah. Just because this thing's super dead.
Yes, it is.
I think we can conclude that there are no more Behirs in this cave.
Yeah.
You could roll me a nature check to anyone who's kind of paying attention. This is, I would say this looks odd.
Oh, I was so close. 6.
9.
7.
I used up all my good rolls.
Actually, I think Rain would be too distracted by the gold to
I'd also say
paying attention to the nature check part.
Amelia got a 14.
Not knowing too much about these kind of creatures, it's hard to tell, but a lot of beings like this, or a lot of animalistic creatures, may turn upon mate or young in times of famine.
Oh.
And it kind of catches that to you, as though maybe this was a mating pair, but
Nature is hardcore.
found you, what attacked you, could not find food for them, and decided to find food for itself. So a room filled with a mostly eaten behir, 4 eggs well crumbled and crushed, and then a pile of coin and other trinkets hefted high of once was this nest.
Let's go through the trinket.
Sure.
Loot the bodies.
Yes, please.
Loot the corpses.
The corpses grant you a bunch of
No,
goo
right.
on your fingers.
Alright, I'm already
Gross.
gooey. I'm gross already.
You want to try for this one's lightning sack
Let's
too?
loot the
not
pile
so
and
much.
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this place sucks.
We still have a mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the process of you kind of combing through all of this, you find a total. Would someone like to write this down?
I'm on it. 1 second.
You there with the bag of holding.
Eric, give it to me.
You find 6,858 gold.
6,858 GP.
Yes. You find 728 platinum.
What the fuck?
You find a crown that looks like bronze. You're unable to tell exactly how much it is worth.
Yep.
Though stained, you also find a silk robe that has fine filigree embroidery on it. That I can talk. Also unable to tell exactly how much it would cost, but it does look fancy if cleaned. Deep within the pile, you find a silver necklace with a pure white gemstone inlaid.
Am I getting a magical vibe from any of these things?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Gladly. Oh, gonna roll right out of my box. Ooh, 22.
22? Out of what you've grabbed so far, no. But then you're able to pull out these 2 bottles
Ooh.
of this crimson liquid that seems to pulse with a low pink light. And it reminds you of almost like a heartbeat, Elduin, as you hold it. It
Okay.
feels slightly warm, even.
Huh.
You also, as you're all like,
These don't look like healing potions.
they don't look like healing potions. But Elduin, the final thing, you sense one more bit on that Arcana check. You feel kind of this pull over to the far pile of like a couple hundred platinum and a good amount of gold. You kind of see these odd like things sticking out of it, twigs almost to either side
Of the pile.
of the pile.
And these look like twigs that are poking out.
It's hard to say because you can't really tell because it's covered in stuff, but it does seem to be something rigid underneath.
Okay, I'm gonna go over to it and just kind of try to like move things off from over top of it.
The first wave of your hand pushes aside. You feel leather underneath it. And then as you kind of push down the odd, firm structure, it seems to curve out.
Curve how?
One, a nice soft curve to the right, the other soft curve to the left, and then kind of curve back like a bow.
Oh.
You know the feeling well.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of grab a hold of it and pull it out. It's sitting in a pile of money, right?
It is.
Yeah.
As you remove the bow from this pile of money, you see the string.
It's got a gentle curve to it, and he just reaches in and pulls it out.
Yeah. I'm just like, I like the feel of this.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
yeah,
That you do.
You're supposed to romance it first.
Yeah.
You notice the
Don't worry,
string-
I was gentle.
Tell that to the Behir.
You notice the need for it to be restrung would be there.
Mm-hmm.
But the string is still attached.
Okay.
And there is definitely some form of magic coming off of it. You can feel that, you just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Cool. We're all excited when I saw that.
Okay. And that's all. I mean, that is a lot of... You take some time to pull all of that money through. But
Yes.
you do. You have now a shit ton of money.
Can somebody do some maths for me?
Got a calculator.
All right, 6,858.
Hold on.
At the far wall...
Alright, hold on. There, fire away.
Oh, do your thing.
6,858
6858.
divided by 5.
1,371.6.
Okay. I'll just hold on to the extra, whatever the 0.6. I don't know. Is that like
3 gold.
3
Should I
extra?
do the platinum too?
Yeah, 728.
121.33.
That's how much everyone gets.
3. Forever.
Uh-huh. Cool.
Okay. You now find yourself, and then at the far end of this, at the very back of this wall, behind the clutch of broken eggs and the rotten body of the Bahir, you find another tunnel that seems to curve out at the high end. It's another one of the high tunnels. So, after gathering all those things, what are you guys doing?
Leave. Go the other route we didn't go.
So go the way that the airflow was coming from?
Yes.
Okay. You guys just walk back around, pushing yourself through these small patches of hard to push through terrain,
Jumping over the cracked.
sidling over the
Flooring.
cracked floor.
So
Flipping it
what are you
off.
guys gonna do with your retirement money?
Pushing through the next
Retirement money.
section. Following now the
Bricks.
torch light blowing back around, you push past another pile of rubble to find a quick curve in a C shape as you follow the airflow. At the very back end of this curve, you see daylight branching around the corner.
Hooray!
Does anyone else want to do anything else here before we leave?
I did everything I wanted to do here.
I got eaten. I
Yeah.
got gold.
Yeah, I got paid. I almost
As we
died.
emerge into daylight, what do we see?
You see, as you emerge into daylight, you see high above you a waterfall as pouring down to either side, just about 30 feet off from this platform you stand on.
There's supposed to be a path leading. If I remember correctly.
About 10 feet out from the platform, you see what almost looks like a roughshod carved out path in the wall itself, leading high above you, up the wall, as though one would have to scale this. Handholds, footholds seem to be there, though how well made, how safe they are, is unknown. The sound, the wind high in the mountain above you. And below you sits the same hills you walked up just a little ways ago. About 100 or so feet down, you see that turn with the boulder, and you can see the entrance a ways below.
So we're about 100 feet up from basically the
From
same
the first
elevation of the entrance.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do I see any chimeras around?
No, not chimeras. Manticores.
Manticores.
Do I see any chimeras? No.
Yeah, do
You
I
don't
see any
actually.
manticores?
And the other things that were flying around.
Do we see? Are there any flying critters?
Anything.
Well, as you walk out into the light, roll a perception check.
Love to.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Squint for a
definitely doing
squint
that.
for a second as I rolled another natural 20.
I rolled a 6.
An unnatural 20 for Metolius.
Amelia got a 15.
13 for Rain.
Over the course of everything, including natural 20, unnatural 20, and most of the other rolls, Elduin, you look up to catch a glimpse of something going on. You grab Metolius' shoulder and point. As everyone looks above, you see this large, winged creature flap high, its long talons spread and ready. Its oddly, almost elk-like head with high antlers struck off and sharp teeth stuck in its mouth seems to snarl at something just above. And that's when this gigantic, spiny creature falls straight into it.
Oh shit!
And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah.
Aerial combat.
Hey, this is Elijah. I play Grimtuck, the lovable barbarian, as well as draw stuff for the Swordcast Adventures. Real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to Frank Piper and Pete Vellucci Jr., our two newest Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much for the love, guys. We really, really appreciate your support, and it means a lot to us. To everyone else listening, please absolutely take a look at our Patreon at patreon.com/theswordcast. There's a lot of great things your contributions can buy, but most of all, it just helps us keep leveling up our gear and the quality of our content. That being said, we are now Twitch affiliates, so that's awesome. Please subscribe to our channel if Twitch is your jam. We have some really cool things coming up on the horizon. Our DM is doing epic gaming streams. Justin, who formerly played our lovable Loud Scout, may he rest in peace, and now plays our amnesiac cleric Amelia, is going to be DMing a live stream game of Waterdeep Dragon Heist for the entire crew. Well, not the entire crew. I'm actually first time DMing a home game of it for some friends, and I can vouch for the fact that it's a super cool module. The best thing about it is that it's such a well-crafted sandbox game, and the fact that the villain changes depending on the playthrough means it's never the same game twice. I will unfortunately not be a regular in that game because I will be focusing more on Twitch streaming, D&D, and just in general Swordcast related digital artwork, also on our Twitch channel. So if you want to hear me ramble on about dumb shit, ask me questions about my processes or techniques, or maybe just heckle me while I stumble through drawing stuff, feel free to tune in and do so. We'll be streaming a Team Stadium D&D 4-on-4 deathmatch between 4 members of the Swordcast and some guest players. I'm thinking of running a Shadow Monk build. I know they're not the most optimized class for straight up combat, but I don't care. They seem fun. More cool stuff coming down the pipeline that I can't tell you about right now, but we'll be announcing it on all of our normal socials. Yeah, thanks again for listening and showing your love, and we'll see you next time.